Michael. Money! Cold, hard cash.
Show me the money.
Dollars, simoleons. I can't think of any more. Those are the only two I can think of. Filthy lucre. Yes, that's right. We're talking about money this week. This is Rage Like Podcast is mostly about money.
All the single dollars?
So, what's that?
All the single dollars?
All the single dollars. All the single dollars.
Bills.
Yes, that's right. Yes, welcome back, everybody, to a financially soluble episode of the Rage Select Podcast. I'm going to sell this Rage Select Podcast as an NFT.
Don't.
And make 1 billion Bitcoins. And then I'm going to take all those Bitcoins. I'm going to buy all the apes. I'm going to print them out. I'm going to wipe my ass with them.
Set them on fire.
Holy shit. What if we made, Michael, this is the business opportunity of a century, and you're the first person to get in on the ground floor because nobody else is hearing this podcast until when they're hearing it right now, if that makes any sense.
No, it does.
We should right click and save as we should funge all the tokens, right? We're going to funge all the tokens. We're going to take the pictures of the apes and we're going to print them out on toilet paper, and we're going to sell that toilet paper to people and say you could literally wipe your ass with NFTs. What do you think?
Well, do we have to mint the toilet paper as
I'm
we
not
sell
doing
them?
that. They could sue me. Those motherfuckers could sue me. Lawyers don't take Bitcoin, Jimmy.
Well, they're not the same thing, Jeff. So they're clearly different NFTs. That's how NFTs work.
I funged them.
Is that when you mint different ones, they're completely different than the other one.
I funged all your tokens.
Technically, we did nothing wrong.
That's right. Yeah,
but yes,
that's right.
We should make Loco Steve an NFT, and it's just him saying "fuck NFTs." And then
sorry,
we'll see how that plays out.
I was watching a really complicated video about cryptocurrency and NFTs, so I got NFTs on the brain.
He's done his homework.
I'm doing it, or I'm 30 minutes into a 2.5-hour video, so
that's enough time.
We'll see how it goes.
That's plenty of time.
I'm a certified investment professional at this point. Come to me with all of your banking and crypto needs. I will tell you. Don't do it. Fuck off.
I'll tell you whether to buy the ape or the lion.
That's right. I'll tell you which one's better. It's big news this week. We got the biggest news of all time, but I'm gonna dangle a little bit more before we get into it because I'm really unsure. I think that you and I are gonna end up talking about the first news story here for like almost the entire podcast. Yeah. But before we get to that, Michael, what have you been up to? What have you been doing? Have you played anything good? Do you see anything good? What do you got? Tell me what you got.
I'm watching The Righteous Gemstones.
Okay.
The second season started.
I keep seeing the art for it. HBO Max keeps sending me emails being like, "Hey, buddy, new episode of Righteous Gemstones," and I'm like, "You know what I watch? I haven't watched a single episode of the Righteous Gemstones."
I love the Righteous Gemstones a lot. It's a crazy fucking show because the second season starts off like way after the end of the first season, where the family of the Gemstones, or they've launched a
they become decidedly unrighteous.
They've launched a streaming service.
Oh, this takes place in the modern day?
Yeah, it's a modern day thing. It's about like these I can never say the word.
LMFAO? Evangelicals?
Yeah. Evangelical priests that have like this big empire that he started making like years and years ago.
Okay.
And so like it opens with a journalist had just outed a different priest for having a threesome with somebody, even though he was talking about like, how adultery is like terrible and stuff. So so the guy tried to kill himself, but he breaks his legs instead. And so and then the same reporter says he's going to look into the gemstones. Meanwhile, the gemstones have their own stuff going on. One gemstone is he's going into business with another priest played by I know his name.
Okay.
Eric Andre.
Okay.
He's played by Eric Andre. He's a Texas priest.
All right. It's a weird fucking show, man.
He's trying to make this like this resort, this big resort in like this area that's like terrible.
Okay.
And then his brother. His plot line is that he has the God Squad, which is a bunch of buff dudes. Have you ever
Mac
seen those?
from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Yeah, kind of. Have you ever seen those? These actual things existed because I remember one came to my high school where it's just a bunch of buff people going like Jesus, and then they rip like a phone book in half, kind of thing. And then
Did
they
Jesus
talk about
give them
abstinence.
the power to rip the phone book in half?
That's essentially what the idea is. So he has a bunch of these muscular dudes who are like that kind of thing, and he has to deal with that. And his sister's dealing with a bunch of crazy. Like, this show's fucking insane.
Okay.
But and then the dad's dealing with his own like stuff that his past is coming back to haunt him because apparently years ago, before he became like a big god dude, he was a wrestler who would like extort people for money for another guy.
This show sounds berserk.
It's fucking
it
amazing.
Sounds completely berserk.
It's an amazing fucking show. It's really funny. It's got John Goodman, Danny McBride, fucking Eric Roberts is in this new season.
Okay.
Like, there's so many great, like, actors in it. It's really, really funny. The first season isn't too long, if I remember correctly. The first season has a different plot line where Danny McBride's character is being blackmailed, and then that spirals out of control as the season progresses.
Okay.
But it was on hiatus, I think, for a while because of COVID. But the same with Barry, because Barry's supposed to come back later this year too.
So it's good?
It's really good.
It's good, worth watching. It's on HBO as well, right?
Yes, I love both. Those are my two favorite shows on HBO.
Okay.
that are comedies that aren't Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Okay,
for the most part.
You and I have very different tastes in what we're watching on a weekly basis.
That's fair.
I feel like
I'm watching Peacemaker still though.
I watched the first episode of Peacemaker. I liked it okay, but I didn't like it enough to continue watching it. But I'm going to try to continue watch. I don't know how I'm going to feel about that.
It's fine. Like, it's James Gunn is willing to add the weirdest possible references from the DC universe into it.
Yeah.
There's a Matter Eater Lad reference in the latest episode that made me laugh really hard.
Don't even know what that is.
He's a Legionnaire.
I watched Macbeth. I watched the tragedy of Macbeth last week.
Oh, you did?
Yep. It was a fine production. I liked what they did with the weird women, the Furies or the Harpies or whatever,
the witches or whatever.
Yeah, I like the part where they're looking into it's in the play, they're looking like into a cauldron, and they had a really kind of interesting way of doing that where Denzel Washington's in this room that's like just fills up with fluid. There's this like really crazy lady that plays like the main one that does a very weird bird impression. Oh, that was great. Though I think I've come to a conclusion, and that is that I don't like Macbeth, the play. Like,
that's fair, yeah.
Macbeth is kind of a piece of shit, and his wife is kind of a piece of shit. And then she just goes fucking crazy. I mean, spoilers for Macbeth. Come on. And like, it's got a lot of it's got a lot of memorable lines, right?
Yes.
Poor player that struts and frets his hour on the stage and all that, But like, the problem is that Macbeth sucks. Like, he kind of just sucks as a dude. Like I don't know who I'm supposed to like when you watch.
That's kind of the thing about Macbeth, though, is that it's a crazy tragedy play about a bunch of terrible people doing terrible shit.
Yeah, I know, and I watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but like I can't root for Macbeth. Like I like Denzel Washington, and I like Shakespeare, but like
I don't think you're supposed to root for Macbeth, though.
Well, who am I supposed to root for? Macduff? Like I don't. the fucking witches? Like Lady Macbeth? It's hard.
You're rooting for his downfall is what you're rooting for.
Oh, okay.
Macbeth.
See,
That's the difference.
I don't know. I mean, like,
it's like watching an NFT, bro. You're like, oh, I can't wait till they get fucking stabbed by a woman or whatever.
The thing is that I feel like there's like, it's okay. It's okay. I'm going to say this right now.
I know I mixed plot lines together from something else, guys, but come on.
I'm gonna make a bold statement here. Like, okay, we ready? Ready for bold statements?
What's that?
It's okay not to like every single thing that Shakespeare wrote.
No, that's true. Yeah.
Like I could see you being like, I liked Romeo and Juliet, but fuck Julius Caesar, and I'm like, oh, okay, I get you. But I just don't think I like Macbeth. Like I like Hamlet. I like Did you ever see that Titus Andronicus with Anthony Hopkins?
Can't say I have.
The Julie Taymor one, and there's like an Othello with God, I can't remember his name. Morpheus.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Lawrence Fishburne. Yeah, Larry Fishburne. Like, there's a lot of great. The Henry V with Kenneth Branagh. Kenneth Branagh's Hamlet's good. There's like a lot of good Shakespeare out there.
What about Hamlet 2?
I just don't think I like Macbeth very much. So
that's the thing about Shakespeare is that like not everything's for everybody, and but that's the same with anything really. Like it's. Like when I did the review for One of Us, I straight up was like, "Look, if you don't like Macbeth, you're just not gonna like the thing because you just don't like Macbeth. It's just Macbeth.
Yeah,
that's all it is. Like it's a really well made rendition of Macbeth. But if you don't like Macbeth, you're just not going to like it.
Right.
That's all it comes down to.
I think that what I'm coming to is that I've seen a lot of different adaptations of Shakespeare things, and I read Macbeth, but I don't think I've ever watched a rendition of Macbeth.
Oh, okay.
And or it's been like 20 years since I've seen anything
for most people. Yes,
for Macbeth, and so I'm like, Nah, I think I'd rather watch Hamlet. Like, I think I'd rather watch Romeo and Juliet or Romeo plus Juliet or, like, I don't know, take your pick. Like,
well, I told you when I watched it, like, I didn't know what the fuck they were saying for the first, like, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Because it was, like, the thickest accents. It's spouting out Shakespeare as fast as they can. I'm like, what is happening?
It's like, oh, are you not familiar with, like, Danish politics? Well, fuck you, you uneducated piece of shit.
It's this whole like moment where they like there's, I don't remember which actor it is, but it's the first guy who walks up to the king, and just starts spouting out this long monologue.
Yep.
And I was like, what did he say? And it wasn't until like we get to further into the play that I'm just like, oh, I know where I'm at now because I know my Macbeth enough to know where I'm at now.
Yeah.
But prior to that, like I said, if you don't understand Shakespearean speak, you're just gonna get lost immediately.
Also, I never really realized this before, and I don't know if there's just something that was missing from the play, but like Lady Macbeth goes from 0 to crazy like between scenes, and you're just like, wait, what's happening now? Why? Like in the beginning, she's like, do it, you pussy, fucking kill the king, you pussy, and then like halfway through the movie, she's just like, now I'm insane, now I'm fucking crazy, and I'm walking around.
That is one of my major issues with the movie or his version is that it doesn't convey that there's a time skip well.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, like she's like literally like, I'm the best. And then like a scene or two later, she's like, oh my God, there's birds everywhere. It's just
blood's on my hands, out spot.
And I'm like, what's happening? Like, even, yeah, I had forgotten that there's a time skip. I'm like, when did she just lose her shit all of a sudden?
Yeah. It doesn't help that every set is just like this weird futurist castle that's angular with nothing in it. It's like Dune. Like no room has anything in it.
I'll give you that.
It's just these big like angled, like there's the part where she gives him the sleeping draught and it's like this weird box and there's just like a table with 2 things on it and the things necessary for the scene, and it's like, okay.
It's because it's just a fancy play.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
There's one thing that made me laugh, though, that no one else noticed except for me. There's a scene, I don't remember the character's name, but he's sitting on a rock. But when he gets up, the rock sort of like inflates back up because it was like a foam thing, and I almost lost it in the middle of the theater.
Oh,
like
shit.
this IMAX fucking press screening, and I was like, don't laugh.
With all these serious
Don't fucking
people.
laugh.
This is serious. They got their pipes and they're all
Exactly.
bold of them to make the rock inflate. In 1831 there was a production that inflated all of the rocks and it was most well regarded.
It made me laugh because I was like, well, I'm out of the movie already.
Yeah.
The second he fucking that rock's just sort of popped up.
Yeah. Annie Hoozles. All right. Enough fucking around. It's been 10 minutes. Enough fucking around.
Let's talk about the death of a king.
Woo! Yeah, that's right. Lady Macbeth was like, Phil Spencer, do it, you pussy. Go buy Activision.
Fucking do it. Stab Bobby Kotick.
Tilda Swinton's there telling Phil Spencer what to do in the weird angle castle. All right. I don't know how you couldn't know this by now. I feel like even people that don't know anything know this. Fucking Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard for $68.7 billion.
That's right, guys. That's fucking insanity.
So let's review Microsoft. It's time for a little shade. Actually, you know what? I actually have to congratulate Microsoft. I will say, congratulations, Microsoft, for listening to the Rage Select podcast and doing what I've been saying you should do for quite some time. Back during the Xbox One days, I was like, hey, Microsoft, I'd love to root for you, but you don't have any fucking games.
No.
And then it was like, well, should we make games? And they're like, nah, let's just buy 30% of the video game industry and then put our name on the games that come out from them. Because right now they've got Double Fine, they've got Obsidian, they've got Bethesda, that gives them like id and fucking like Elder Scrolls.
It gives them so many fucking
Tango
things, guys.
Softworks. There's another one. There's like another smaller one. They got Double Fine. Did I already mention?
Yeah,
Double Fine?
Double Fine.
There's another smaller one that was in one of their earlier acquisitions, but
It was the guys who made not the guys who made the Outer Wild or whatever. Outer Worlds.
Yeah.
Outer Worlds.
Well, that's Obsidian.
Obsidian? Oh, you didn't
That was
mention
Outer
Obsidian,
Worlds.
though.
I thought I said Obsidian. Okay,
No, you
well,
didn't
in
mention
any
them.
case,
It's because you said Double Fine twice.
I said Double Fine too many times.
Because they're Double Fine.
Because they're Double Fine. Yeah, but now Microsoft has bought Activision Blizzard. Okay, holy shit.
Stupid amount of money, by the way.
Oh my god! I actually started. I was talking. Somebody in the. We're jumping ahead a little bit here. Jump all over the place. But somebody. There's been this weird counter rumor that like well, since they did that, Sony's going to buy EA. And I went and looked up like the net worth of like Microsoft and Sony and EA, and actually Konami and Capcom, because I was like, well, okay, listen, EA's net worth, it would take like, it was like a quarter to a sixth of like Sony's net value to be able to buy all the shares of EA. Like Sony's net value is in the billions. Microsoft's net value is like $3 trillion.
That's the thing, is Microsoft is backed by a mega corporation.
Yeah, like you pay, Microsoft gets a tax on every single fucking PC that gets sold because they all have Windows 10 on them. Like
Sony used to be a big, like almost mega corporation, but then they fucked up.
Yeah,
later down the line, and then they were no longer the big mega corporation.
Yeah, and so Microsoft, you know, they also had Zune, right? So they got all that huge
the
Zune boon of the early 2000s.
I like the Zune
right?
too. That's the funny thing.
Microsoft phones, they had their cell phone division.
My cousin had all of those things.
Yeah,
that makes me laugh.
I mean, I think the Surface tablet does pretty good for them, right?
Because it's a cheaper tablet than the Apple one.
They bought, or they're at least leasing. You can buy like just a full PC on Microsoft's website now.
As far as I know, yeah.
And I know it's being made by somebody else. But anyway, right. So back to video games. Enough about all this bullshit. Back to video games. So Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard for just gonna say $70 billion because that's about what it is.
That's about what
Give
it is.
or take $1 billion. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, who cares?
Right.
What's fucking Activision cost, Jeff? $70 billion?
What does one Activision cost? Okay, so there's so many different ways that we can go here.
Yes, there's many ways.
Let's first talk about, like, they put out an FAQ, an official FAQ about this stuff.
Oh, did they? I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Well, this was internal, I believe, to Activision. This is an Activision FAQ. Because, like, okay, listen, when... it's so weird, right? Because, like... I haven't heard any reports from any of the companies that Microsoft has purchased. Like, normally when a company purchases another company, the company that gets purchased gets integrated into the first company. Yeah. So it's like the company that gets bought, you know, Rage Select. Let's say that $70 billion for Rage Select. So Rage Select, no, that Rage Select is a bad example, but buy me, Phil Spencer. I'm here, business daddy.
$70 billion.
Let's say that Microsoft bought Baskin Robbins, right? Like, so Baskin Robbins has like a whole...
That'd be fascinating, by the way.
...distribution and management structure, and Microsoft already has all that bullshit, so usually they just, like, you know, wipe out a bunch of those things. Or like, in the case of maybe not bad, maybe like a software company, maybe Activision Blizzard. Like, they got a bunch of testers, and Microsoft's like, oh, we have QA testers. But that's not what Microsoft has been doing. They've been purchasing these companies, but like we got the reports that Bethesda was just like, they're going to own Bethesda and they're probably going to pressure them to do certain things, but they're not like taking over Bethesda.
No.
It's just that Bethesda as an independent organization is now a wholly owned subsidiary of fucking Microsoft, which is really weird. And it's kind of smart in a way, because if you do too much tampering with the company that you bought, you might end up ruining the magic that you were buying in the first place, right?
They learned their lesson. He came out saying that he fucked over the people who made Fable. What was the name of it?
Oh, Peter Molyneux?
The Lionhead?
Lionhead Studios.
He was like, yeah, we fucked up. Yeah. We fucked up bad. It's like we bought it, and then we were like, what if we did all these things, and then the Django tower fell, and they're like, oh, that's...
You buy Double Fine, and you're like, okay, I'm looking at the line item budget. Fire this Tim Schafer guy. We have plenty of managers already. Just put one of our managers. Just what's
it's Don Matrick.
What's Don Matrick doing? Get Don Matrick in here. Put him in charge of these Double Fine guys.
Because they've realized since they finally learned their lesson, which is stop fucking with the studios that you buy. Because the same thing happened to Rare.
Yeah,
they're like, Rare, why don't you just make Kinect games for like a decade? And they're like, but we don't want to. But you're gonna. Or else we're going to shoot this puppy in front of you. It's like, oh.
So, okay, let's see. A lot of these questions actually, all right, I had this in an order, but a lot of these questions are going to end up kind of throwing our order out of order. So let's just start with, what did Microsoft get for their $70 billion?
Yes.
They got, well, actually, this article is just called... It's a Polygon article called "Here's Everything Microsoft Owns After the Activision Blizzard Deal." And it's just a list of all
everything.
the shit. You remember? I keep forgetting that Microsoft owns Minecraft.
Yes, they've owned Minecraft. How much did they spend on Minecraft?
$2.5 billion.
Yes.
Yeah, to acquire Mojang and Minecraft. So okay, let's just do this list now. Let's go through this list. They've got Minecraft. They've got Halo. They've got Gears of War. They've got Hellblade. That's the one. Ninja Theory.
Oh, okay.
Hellblade, State of Decay, Wasteland. And then whatever Double Fine is up to next, and Obsidian and their RPG that's coming up next. They also got In Exile, the Pillars of Eternity guys. That was another one that I forgot about earlier.
Yes, that's the game I remember.
From ZeniMax, Fallout, Elder Scrolls, Wolfenstein, Doom, Starfield. This is all owned by the same company, man. And now Call of Duty, Diablo, Overwatch, Warcraft, and
Crash Bandicoot,
Spyro, yeah.
Maybe
Tony Hawk's
stuff.
Pro Skater. Like, dude.
It's fucking insane, guys.
Like, dude, I feel like I was telling you this before, where like for years, like back in the early Nintendo, Sony or Sega days, right? I feel like Nintendo and Sega, they were like competing in this. It was like I'm gonna get a little political here, but it was like the meritocracy, right? Like, who can make a better game? Like, if we make a better game, then you'll buy a Nintendo. But if Sega makes a better game, you'll buy a Genesis, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's been going on for a long time. Like, empires have risen and fallen, and it's been like, oh shit, we've got this, we got this, we got this. And Microsoft at a certain point looked around and they looked at the fucking $3 trillion net value. They looked at Sony's like $500 billion net value or whatever the fuck it is, and they were just like, why don't we just buy this bitch? Like, we can't afford to buy Nintendo. We know that. And we can't afford to buy Sony outright. But we could probably buy, like...
by that weirdo in the corner.
Yeah. It actually made me wonder, after looking at all those other things, it's like, what's next? Like, what if they buy Capcom? Like, they could. It would actually be less than what they spent on this. Like,
the thing is that like they haven't really had any interest in Capcom in a long time, though.
Yeah.
Like, Sony tends to pay more for Capcom shit than they've ever done.
Yeah. So
it's crazy. That's the thing, is that the rumor is that people think that for a while thought Sony was going to buy Capcom because of what happened with Street Fighter V.
Oh, Guitar Hero. They have Guitar Hero.
Yeah, that was the thing in the announcement. In the announcement, they name dropped Guitar Hero, and people are like, "Are they going to make more Guitar Hero?" I'm like, "Guys, it's just an announcement. Calm the fuck down." There's so much going on with this fucking thing.
I want to bring back Skylanders. Come on, Microsoft, bring back Skylanders. Give me a Zune that has virtual Skylander NFTs on it that I can put on the pad, a portal of power, and then make my virtual NFT apes come into the new Skylanders game.
They need to make a new Halo Zune, because the Halo 3 Zune was kind of nice.
What if? Okay, but listen, hold on. This now brings Microsoft into a position where they could totally fucking make their own Smash Brothers.
They should.
Like,
they should take this. They should take this and make an FU to PlayStation All Stars.
Yeah.
To put Crash Bandicoot and Spyro prominently on the cover of it.
Doom Guy's in our game.
Just everything, every possible thing they could think of.
The Wanderer,
all of these fucking things.
The Wanderer from Fallout. You got Senua. You got the Minecraft Steve. Fucking Marcus Phoenix from Gears of War.
I'd play this game, is the thing.
Master Chief. It would be.
They have enough characters to do it now. Tony Hawk. It's the whole thing.
Hell yeah! It would be the Dude Bro Smash Bros. Like,
I would be that sounds kind of amazing. The whole thing is fucking insane, guys.
Yeah,
the possibilities are endless, both good and bad.
Yeah. So okay, let's actually get into some of this stuff. So Microsoft has said that they're going to be bringing some Activision Blizzard games to Game Pass.
Shocking.
Obviously.
Shocking, guys.
Yeah. Also, motherfucker, I keep sitting here. Every week I keep sitting here, and we're going to come back to this later. Every week I keep sitting here, and I'm like, they got Overwatch. They got fucking Tony Hawk. They got Call of Duty. They also got Candy Crush, because King is part of ABK.
That's right. Candy Crush is still a thing.
Yeah, and it's a big profit generator.
Which is crazy, because no one talks about it anymore.
Mobile games, man. So... yes, they're going to be bringing... there's not any particular dates, and we should actually note that as part of this whole thing, this deal will not be done until Q1 of 2023. Like,
yeah, there's still stuff they're not even allowed to say yet.
Yeah,
they haven't finalized it.
Even remotely done yet. But they want to bring games to Game Pass. Actually, just remember that like EA is in bed with them as well, and the like
They already were,
Ubisoft is in bed with them. Like they don't own EA or Ubisoft, but Rainbow Six Extraction is on Game Pass, and like the Mass Effect trilogy is on Game Pass. Like,
well, because they have that deal with them with the if you buy if you get it Game Pass, you also get
EA Play,
access to EA Play.
Yeah,
and I think Ubisoft's thing is also gonna get mixed in there somehow.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll definitely be getting stuff. I think the biggest question is like, will World of Warcraft be available on Game Pass without a monthly subscription?
I doubt that one.
I think I don't know. Will World of Warcraft be on consoles?
I also doubt. Well, that's the thing. Like we said, the possibilities are so fucking insane.
Yeah.
Because Activision in general has only been making Call of Duty, for the most part. Like a lot of these studios that were really well known for a lot of really fantastic games, like the Marvel Ultimate Alliance series, the Crash Bandicoot stuff that came out recently, the Spyro things that came out recently.
Yep.
They're all like, now you guys only make Call of Duty shirts, kind of thing.
Yep.
And it's like, well, like what if, like the possibilities of Microsoft being like, hey guys, you want to make a game again? And just like I want to see what happens. Like, are they actually going to be able to do that? Who knows?
I might be fucking up my whole thing here, but I'm gonna jump ahead to something because I was looking through an article that was talking about the 2021 sales figures. And like I think that a lot of times we tend to get a little bit like weirdly bamboozled. Like you look at the $70 billion price tag and you're like, well, what the fuck? Like Call of Duty, whatever. Call of Duty Vanguard was the best-selling game of 2021.
I'm not surprised by that.
Do you want to know what's number 2?
What?
Call of Duty Black Ops.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That's surprising.
The top 2 best-selling video games of 2021 of last year were both Call of Duty. It was that year's Call of Duty and last year's Call of Duty.
When did those come out?
Call of Duty Vanguard came out in like October, November. I mean, they always come out around October, November. It's usually late October to get the Black Friday rushes. So
I think that makes some sense for the most part. A lot of games got delayed in 2021 either way.
Yeah,
but Call of Duty has still been a very sure the player base has gone down, but it's a gigantic fucking player base.
Yeah,
that's like saying, well, we lost 500,000 of like 5 million. That's nothing.
Yeah. So the thing is that I think that some people are thinking about the idea that this is going to herald some kind of Activision renaissance where they bring back like beloved characters or whatever. I have a feeling that's just Microsoft pulling the fucking cash register handle on Call of Duty. Like Call of Duty, God damn it, the second best-selling game of last year was from 2020. It didn't even come out last year.
Which is so weird.
It was a year-old game. Like, oh, Jesus. And that's not even talking about, like, I don't even think those figures were bringing in, like, the Warzone. Like, and all the shit in Warzone. So
it's a free-to-play game.
Yeah.
So they probably make bank on just that shit alone.
Yeah. So, all right. So we're bringing Activision stuff to Game Pass. We don't know what yet. This is all very early days.
They're going to bring the Death and Return of Superman. The old Blizzard Super Nintendo game. All going to be on Game Pass.
Yeah. Let's see. From there, there was a question about, like, what does this mean for the
people,
like Call of Duty on the PlayStation. Like if Microsoft owns Call of Duty, Activision, what does that mean for people on the PlayStation that play Call of Duty?
They came out with an announcement, right?
Yeah, they basically, well, here's the thing. It was very Weasley. Like, it was basically like, we will honor all of our current commitments, all of Activision's current commitments to doing things across the board. And then they were like, well, what about platform exclusivity? And it's like, well, we'll have to do some research on that and then, like, get back to you. Actually, I believe they came out and said, like, we are probably going to make some stuff that comes out of this acquisition into platform exclusives, which is weird because everything from Activision Blizzard is, like, cross multiple platforms.
Yeah.
So
pretty much everything has been out on every single system.
Yeah.
And some phone stuff too.
Yep. What, you don't have a phone? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, that's exactly right.
So
that's what Phil Spencer did when he called them.
Here's the thing, y'all. Hey man, like I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but Microsoft, we talked about this when Microsoft bought Bethesda, right? Like it's kind of a win-win for Microsoft, right? Like if they continue to, like, if the subsidiary of Microsoft continues to sell games for both the PlayStation and the Xbox, Microsoft still gets a cut of all of that money that comes in. If they make it console exclusive, then it means they're almost certainly going to sell more Xboxes or at least Game Pass subscriptions on the PC, right?
Yeah, because the PC, it's the thing about Microsoft that's always been that's been better for a lot of people than PlayStation is that they've always been like, well, everything comes out on the PC.
Right.
There's not a single thing nowadays that's only on the Xbox Series X.
Well, that only started a couple years back.
Well, that's what I mean. Like,
yeah.
that's why I'm saying that right now this is like the perfect thing to be happening to a lot of people.
Right.
Is that there's so many people that are just like, well, I want a PlayStation, but I can't play like Spider-Man on my PC kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I can't get a PS5. So a lot of people are just shit out of luck on that. Whereas with Microsoft, if they end up just being like, well, this stuff is all exclusive to Xbox, but it's also going to be on your PC.
Right.
So it's going to help a lot of people in that sort of way.
Yeah.
It's a win-win for a lot of people, minus like a handful, honestly, is what it feels like.
And like, let's be honest here. Nintendo isn't competing in this space.
No.
They don't give a shit. Like,
In fact, they have a very friendly relationship with Microsoft.
yeah. So it's mostly just comes down to them and Sony, but then also it's like I keep thinking, we're going to come back to this, but I keep thinking that it's like, this is all well and good, Microsoft, but none of this gives you market share in Japan or Europe where Sony fucking rules. Like, Sony rules those markets. At least, it's like Nintendo and then Sony.
That's very much been the case for a long time.
But like, they're not breaking. They've been trying for years to try to break into those markets. You know who they need to buy? They need to buy Bandai Namco. Microsoft needs to buy Bandai Namco and make the next fucking Dragon Ball game an Xbox exclusive in Japan. Then you will sell some Xboxes.
One of the most surprising things is I remember when Dragon Ball Fighters was announced.
Yeah.
It was announced during the Xbox E3, which was crazy to me because it was just like, yeah, you guys are trying to break into this thing so much. Like, well, what about Dragon Ball Z? You guys like that stuff, right? And of course we all lost our minds, but we're like, well, but it's on both systems, and fighting games are better on a PlayStation with those controllers. So
yeah,
I'm just gonna buy it on that anyways.
Yep. Let's see. So, let's talk about the law.
Yeah,
Judge Dredd's favorite part of the podcast. So nothing has been said yet, but there is a pretty good chance that this might run afoul of like anti-competitive laws, like consolidating this much market share power under one company is something that, like, I mean, there was what was it? Like, there was, last summer, this is from a Video Games Chronicle article. Last summer, Joe Biden signed an executive order promoting competition in the U.S. economy, which specifically called out big tech companies. And a couple of analysts have been out there like, Biden is not necessarily, or the Biden administration's policy to date has very much been like, oh, I don't want to roll over on just all business transactions. So it's possible that they might have a fight. I actually don't think that they'll...
I don't think they're going to be paying attention to this.
Well, somebody pointed something very important out. Most of the time, companies don't like sign, even like in pencil, $70 billion business deals if they are not like really rock solid with their fucking lawyers about like, this is legal, right?
Is
like,
completely doable.
We're not going to have to reverse this in fucking October, right? Like, because there's so much money sloshing around here that just the organization of integrating these two companies into each other's org charts is going to cost a shitload of money. So we'll have to keep an eye out, but there's a good possibility that we'll see some pushback. I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of like razzafrazzing from like lawmakers and senators and fucking. I will bet you absolute money that Josh Hawley is going to be a big bugaboo about this because he's making his little stand against tech and the way that the games are murdering our children's brains, that he's going to be like, no, this can't happen for freedom. And then at the end of the day, it's like, it's $70 billion. Like, go fuck yourself, Josh. Like,
I can see like a handful of people maybe trying to make a fuss about it.
Yeah.
But I honestly don't think anything's really going to happen. Like with the Disney Fox thing, like, At this point, like, I don't think anything's going to happen to anybody for a while when it comes to antitrust sort of ideas.
There was one a little while back that they put the kibosh on, but the thing is that a lot of
the only one I can remember that like completely got fucked was the AT&T.
It's Comcast.
Yeah, I think it was AT&T Comcast or something like that.
Yeah,
and that one I think was the only one that got really fucked for a while, and even then I think it went through eventually.
I think it was just that Comcast pivoted and bought Sprint or something instead.
It might have been something like that.
I'm sorry,
but there was a handful of them.
Fucking business podcast.
No, it's not. Business. Is this working?
Business. All right. So that's most of the specifics. Let's get to, except for the one last specific.
Oh, that Polygon went another way to find a picture of Bobby Kotick that looks horrible.
Mr. Bobby Kotick.
Kotick Bobby.
Kotick Bobby. You big fat fuck. What's gonna happen? So what's gonna happen with Bobby Kotick? Okay, here's the thing. I do not think that this acquisition would have gone through if it wasn't for the fucking bullshit that is happening in Activision Blizzard right now.
It absolutely would not have gone through.
Apparently, Bobby Kotick has been like staving off like acquisition stuff for a little while now, but he's too weak now with all the bullshit news, and the board was just like, fuck you.
Not only is he too weak, it's also the best case scenario for his current situation.
Yes. Will Bobby Kotick be staying on? Well, the thing is that, as we mentioned before, this deal doesn't finalize until 2023. So Bobby Kotick will be running. Somebody has to they're not going to stop Activision until this is done, right?
Yeah, it's not they don't shut down everything in Activision.
Yeah.
Like, they don't kick Bobby Kotick out of his chair and be like, nothing's being made now.
Right.
Nothing until it's
everybody
done.
Go home. We'll call you when we start back up again at 2023.
No.
I mean, they're still
never going to happen.
Still going to be making stuff, still going to be putting out patches and content and all that bullshit. So Bobby Kotick will stay on at Activision to run the place. It is all but completely and 100% confirmed that once this is done, he's fucking out. He's gone.
He gets the fuck off to wherever they go.
He gets to take his, I think it's like $262 million severance and fuck off.
Yeah, he's got plenty of money. He'll be fine.
Oh, I'm not shedding tears.
I'm telling the audience,
Bobby
yes.
Kotick.
The audience is very afraid. How is he going to survive on $262 million?
How will he be able to buy the new gold-plated Shark Tank?
Will he be able to get the fuel for his jet? Find out on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z.
I do not. Yeah, I don't give a shit. This is interesting because this week actually there was also a bunch of other fucking bullshit Bobby Kotick news. Apparently, this is the one that I really liked. Was apparently Bobby Kotick, during all the Activision Blizzard kerfuffle, was trying to buy a tech/games website.
I heard about this. Yeah,
the ones that he wanted was like
Kotaku was one of them.
I think it was Kotaku. I think it was also like Reset Era or something like that. Anyway, yeah, they wanted to basically buy a tech website to do like good PR. And
they would have been like, Bobby Kotick is actually the nicest dude ever. He bought me a puppy yesterday.
Oh man, let's Bobby Kotick. Who's that? Look at this Call of Duty Warzone footage. It's so good looking.
It's so beautiful.
What?
It makes you completely forget about the sexual assault allegations.
Yeah. Oh, Kotaku or PC Gamer is the ones listed in this article. What a scumbag fuck off move. Like,
well, it's a rich person move is really what it was. It's like, well, why don't I just buy the thing that's talking shit about me and then tell them to not talk shit about me?
Yep, that's true.
It's worked for Republicans.
So yeah, that sucks. That's a big bag of big dicks. Let's see. We also had a fresh round apparently of like okay, Activision Blizzard. Last week there was a story about Riot Games. I don't know if you listened to Man and I on the podcast last week, but like last week there was a story about Riot Games where they had they were resolving their internal workplace bro culture bullshit. They upped their settlement payout from $8 million to $100 million for the people that were in the lawsuit against them. They rewrote their entire charter to basically say like we're going to focus on inclusivity and blah 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 blah. And they gave anybody that was working there the option to essentially leave with 4 months of like pay. Just here. Like
Oh,
you're
wow.
like, I quit, and you're like, here's a quarter of a year of what you would have made and 3 months worth of health insurance. Go with God. We don't give a shit.
That's really nice of them.
On the other hand, Activision appears to have been trying to just like shove people out the fucking door when nobody's looking. So what is it? There have been about 36 people let go from Activision Blizzard in the time between the last time I talked and now, and about 40 others have been disciplined for misconduct or allegations or various different things. There's also a report from the Wall Street Journal that said that the complaints filed by employees is around 700.
Oh my god.
Now their hack ass press lady. I was going to use a bad word for lady, but I'm not gonna. She's just a lady. I feel so bad for the press ladies, though, right? Like
I feel bad for any press person that's to deal with
they
this.
just have to shove you out there and be like, tell them no. Tell them. Remember how Bobby Kotick wrote that one lady's statement and then like made her send it from her email?
It was pretty
like,
bad.
Yeah. This Helene Klasky lady came out to be like, man, that number's that's an inflated number. Don't worry about all that. The thing is that I'm not a fucking apologist for this company. I hate companies in general, but like
That's true.
I have at least like a thimbleful of sympathy here because I have a feeling that around 700 complaints is like everything, all complaints, all internal complaints, without sifting like these are complaints about sexual misconduct and these are complaints about like
Yeah, it's probably every possible complaint.
there's no
matter what it
coffee in
is.
the fucking break room.
Yeah, it's just like Steve smells real bad.
Yeah.
And it's like okay, fine.
Also, you gotta. I mean, like, and again, I am not coming off as like making excuses here. Like, you also have to think that like right now at Activision, employees have to feel very empowered to just be like, here's another complaint and here's another complaint. Like, they've got management kind of on the ropes a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
So like it would not surprise me that once like Activision's been spending 6 months being dragged through the mud, if employees at Activision were like, we need better snacks in the break room. It'd be a real shame if I had to fucking have a hashtag press conference.
These gluten-free chips are bullshit.
Yes.
I deserve the gluten, damn you.
And I really don't mean that to like downplay the bad things that have happened at this company.
No, there are bad things going on at this place.
But I think that.
But there are plenty of places that just. I've worked at plenty of places where there's 1,000 complaints ranging from the most insane shit, or just hey, you guys, you need to fucking. This one guy won't clean the bowls in the sink.
Right. Yeah. I had a guy. I used to work at this little laptop repair store in town, and there was this one dude, and we had a French press to make coffee with, and you know what a French press is, right? Where you like put the grounds in, you put hot water, and then you like push it down,
And you grab a French person and they press it.
Yes.
Yeah,
You got to have a
from
French
there.
person, or else it's just sparkling coffee.
Exactly.
So this motherfucker would always use the French press to make coffee, and then he would just put it in the sink with the grounds in it and walk away.
Oh, geez.
And then like the next person, and he also like we would open the store, right? And so he was a fucking slack off piece of shit. So we would open the front doors of the store and there were people waiting and they would come in and we would start helping them. And while we were doing this work, he would go make himself the first cup of coffee with the French press that somebody else cleaned yesterday, and they would leave it in the sink. So then by the time an hour had passed and things had calmed down, it was time we wanted to get our own fucking coffee. We'd go back there and be like, motherfucker, like clean the. It's not that hard, man. It's not that hard to clean the French press. He's like, not my fucking job. And it's like, it's none of our jobs. None of us were hired as janitors. We're all fucking employees at a store. Like, goddamn. Anyway, getting close to the end here. Labor organizers have said that the acquisition isn't going to stop them. So the ABK Alliance, they are going to continue moving forward, trying to make sure that they are getting, workers' rights and various concessions from management, et cetera, et cetera.
It's a good move, especially to not give up during this time frame, because the eyes are still very much on this company, even more so now than ever.
Yeah, I mean, they have leverage right now, right? Yeah. So it's a very good possibility that Microsoft is just going to be like, just fucking yes, whatever, just
whatever
shut the fuck
they say,
up,
just stop it. we're paying you $70 billion. Tell them to shut up.
What we want is we want happy fucking drones churning out maps for Warzone. Like, we don't want people outside with fucking signs. We want Warzone maps. And like, what do we have to pay to get Warzone maps? So,
because the thing is, like, any bad at this junction, any bad press that Activision is going to get from here on out will also hurt Phil Spencer and Xbox.
yes.
And that's the thing, is like, we're now at the point where this is the best possible time to fuck with these companies.
Yep.
Because it's a double-edged fucking like stab.
Yep.
So yeah, it's gonna be great.
Now, and then the last thing, we have another thing, but anyway, I just need to stop saying last thing, because there's never a last thing. It's a whole podcast. It's like 2.5 hours of podcast. The thing is that I think it's really interesting when I think about this acquisition, because like Activision is in a weird position, but like after reading those sales figures, it's like Call of Duty is still a fucking cash cow.
Yes.
Like, I don't know anybody that plays Call of Duty. I don't give a shit about Call of Duty. I think a lot of times, like, when you don't care about Call of Duty, you forget that it's still like the biggest fucking moneymaker, one of the biggest money making like console video games on the planet.
Absolutely.
The thing is that I wonder, like, if this is going to, because I think that the Activision side of Activision Blizzard King, and the King side, obviously, who cares? I don't care about Candy Crush. But like, Blizzard is a fucking wreck right now. Like,
100%.
Overwatch 2 has been pushed back. Diablo 4 is pushed back.
They've made one actual game essentially since they've gotten bought.
I mean, last year they put out one game, and it was the Diablo 2 remaster that wasn't even made by them. I believe that 2 years before that they put out the Warcraft 3 remastered edition that was terrible.
Did the phone game ever come out? The Diablo one?
Nope.
Because
Because I read some articles that said, hey, that phone game is actually pretty fun. And so I went to my fucking Google Play Store, and it was like, sign up for the beta and we'll let you know when you can play it. And I'm like, it's not out yet? Like, what
I
the
thought it was
hell?
out by now.
Nope.
That was years ago when
Yep.
that fucking thing happened.
Like, the thing is that, look back, Michael, I believe I got my timeline right, that 2019 was Warcraft 3 remastered.
Yes.
2020 was like the expansion to World of Warcraft Classic. Like, there was they put out Burning Crusades for World of Warcraft Classic, and then last year was Diablo 2. It's like they're just reheating leftovers, like,
That really is what it is.
for years now. I mean, ever since, I think,
They've been adding stuff to Overwatch, but that's about it.
what was the last new thing that they put out was Heroes of the Storm?
That sounds right.
Because it was like Hearthstone, Overwatch, Heroes of the Storm, and then
And I
just
can't think of anything
remaster
after that, yeah.
bullshit, right? No Diablo 4, no Overwatch 2.
When did Diablo 3? Wait, no, Diablo 3 came out way before that point.
Oh, yeah. Diablo 3 came out when I worked at Spills.
Yeah.
I think.
It's a pretty old game. But even then, I think they've made remasters of that, too, at this point, or something like that.
Yeah.
Or complete collections or something.
So I really hope that this gives Blizzard the time, because so many of the creative directors of Blizzard have left. So
Yes.
it's like, you know, replacing fucking Jeff Kaplan is not just a, like, I don't know, just get the next guy in line and like make him the creative director of Overwatch 2. It doesn't exactly work that way.
No,
like,
not very well, at least.
so I hope that this also means that Blizzard gets a chance to get their shit together, being under this huge financial umbrella, because that's the other thing, is that with the acquisition of this just makes Microsoft stronger. Like,
100%.
like, they're going to take, you know, that's a lot of money to spend, but what they're getting back in return is a chunk of market share that just can't be overstated. Like,
It's a huge chunk, guys. Like, that's the thing. That's some of the biggest developing everything. Like, some of your favorite things that have come out in the past decade have come from these studios.
yeah, it's kind of amazing to think about. So I guess we have one last thing, and it's just Phil Spencer reacting to the PlayStation Game Pass thing, which he was just like, oh yeah, seems great. Like, Phil Spencer's like the anti-Don Matrick.
He's like the nicest fucking guy on the planet, apparently.
I think he's just super goddamn canny about like what he says. Like, he doesn't go out there and just run his mouth. Like, he goes out there and he's just like, hey, you know, imitation's the highest form of flattery. We fucking think, you know, if we're moving in that direction, they're moving in that direction. Everybody's moving in a great direction for gamers are getting a lot of games. And it's like, God damn it, motherfucker. I can't even make that sound bad.
It reminds me, like, okay, like, this is going to be a Fairly Odd Parents reference, but it reminds me of Dinkelberg, like, because
I don't know what that is.
Well, because in Fairly Odd Parents, Timmy's dad has a nemesis named Dinkelberg, who's his neighbor, but Dinkelberg is like the nicest fucking person on the planet.
Yeah.
So every time he says something, like it's like the nicest thing ever, but his dad's always just like Dinkelberg, and like I feel like that about Phil Spencer sometimes because I'm like, God, it's impossible to be fucking angry at that guy. But he just says like nice shit, and like every time somebody talks to them, because like every other place they'll ask for a quote and somebody says something that's like somewhat shitty, and then they'll twist it into something. Every time Phil Spencer talks, they're just like, Phil Spencer just said the nicest fucking thing ever. We can't spill it every fucking time.
As you know, so many of these things actually intertwine with themselves from backwards compatibility in terms of building out a library of games that we have shipping on the PC and console simultaneously. I don't mean it to sound like we've got it all figured out, but I think the right answer is allowing your customers to play the games they want to play, where they want to play them, and giving them choice about how they want to build their library, and being transparent with them about what our plans are in terms of PC initiatives and our cross-gen initiatives and other things. So when I hear others doing this, like Game Pass or coming to PC, it makes sense to me because I think it's the right answer. I don't really look at it as validation. I actually, when I'm talking to our teams, I talk about it as an inevitability. So for us, we should continue to innovate, continue to compete, because the things that we're doing might be advantages, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, you guys read the whole quote. It's pretty good.
Here's the thing about Phil Spencer. Is that man can say anything and you're going to love him. Like... you remember when E3s when we said there's very few games that ever came out on Xbox that were worth anything.
Yeah.
But like everybody was always like, those E3s were won by Microsoft because Phil Spencer's a really good fucking showman.
Yeah.
He walks up to that stage and goes, ladies and gentlemen, Keanu Reeves.
Right.
And then apparently he's won E3 just based on that one fucking thing that's happened. The man is a gold, is what I'm saying.
Well, Sony doesn't even do E3 anymore, but they need to bring back that one guy. The greatest E3 of all time.
The VP, fake VP.
Yeah, it was that guy that was in the commercials for a while.
That dude was amazing. I hate that they fucking fired him over some bullshit.
Stupid reasons.
Some bullshit is what it was.
All right, so let's wrap this whole segment up. I mean, we still have a little bit of time to do one more story, but before we do that, I just want to say, Michael, what do you think? Is this a good or a bad thing at the end of the day?
Yes.
What do you think?
The answer is yes.
Okay.
Because we don't know. That's the thing, is that this is such a huge fucking thing that we won't even know the repercussions of a lot of this for years to come.
Yes.
Like that's just what it is. Like it could be amazing short term, it could be terrible short term, it could be amazing long term, it could be terrible long term. We're not really going to know until we find out what's actually going to happen to these games. Yep. We're going to find out if these games are any good that they end up letting them do, or if they're just going to let them just do what they've always been doing but under a different flag.
Right.
We don't really know.
It's a good question. Like how much involvement Microsoft will have. It's very good right now. Like that's what I will say. I will say that right now, like Xbox and Game Pass is an incredible value, and like if you get an Xbox, like if you get a Series S, right, and Game Pass, it's like, man, you've got so much going on right there.
Yeah.
The thing is that there's nothing to stop like nice guy Phil Spencer from leaving, and like fucking Don Matrick 2.0 from coming in and being like, all right, reduce the number of games on Game Pass by 30% and jack up the price to $50 a month. Like, I had enough of this low-tier horse shit. We got them all hooked. They're all smoking. They're all vaping the Game Pass all day. Like, jack up the prices immediately. Okay, now, like, let's cut the size of Activision Blizzard by 35% because I'm tired of dealing with these dickheads and their fucking soda machine bullshit. Like, just slash half of them and, like, integrate half of them into fucking Obsidian because they're making this thing. There's all kinds of ways that this could be really abusive. There's no way to know.
That's the thing.
It's just right now it looks good. Like they've done a very good job over the last few years of putting themselves in a value proposition where it's like, this is a great value proposition for gamers. If you buy an Xbox Series X and you pay for Game Pass, you are getting a shitload of games for like $25 a month or whatever.
It's very cheap, and they keep adding more and more stuff to this thing. Yeah. Right now, this is probably one of the best. Like, it's the best for everybody, I think, right now. I'm not counting, PlayStation itself. But it's the best for Activision, I think. Because Activision, we were looking at it every time we talked about the stories. We saw it as the beginning of the end for Activision. Right. But now, this is the beginning of something different that no one's going to know about. It's such a huge moment in gaming history that we're not going to forget about this for a long time.
Yep. It is titanic. And then last but not least, I really did. I think we might just close out on this, and then we'll just have the first segment is just nothing but talking about this. But like, I feel like there's going to be a lot of I don't want to get into console wars, right? But like Sony now must respond to this, right? Like Sony cannot continue with the way that they are doing things right now.
They're going to send assassins after Phil Spencer.
Right, well, so we already know that Sony is working on like a Game Pass type of thing.
Yes.
My thought, I think I said this to you the other day, is like, if Sony could come out and say, we have a Game Pass for all of the Sony exclusive games from now to the PlayStation 1 era, and you can play any of them. So like, because Sony's not making money on the ROMs of fucking Uncharted for PlayStation 3 or like whatever, right? But like, if they start signing their own deals to essentially, you know what? I'll be honest with you, like, I feel like this isn't the same for everybody, but I feel like Sony could compete with what Microsoft is putting out now just by being like, you can play any PlayStation 2 game that you want on the PS5.
Oh, dude, 100%.
They look good in 4K. We've done the FPS boost in the 4K or whatever. We finally got the emulation running. It is flawless. You just buy it off the store, download the ROM, and start it up. And if they could do PlayStation 3 as well, because there are a lot of games that are locked into that hardware ecosystem that we can't emulate properly.
Oh, it's frustrating. It's incredibly frustrating.
The PlayStation 3 was with the fucking cell processors or whatever. But like, if they could come out and unlock that history of their catalog all the way back to the PS1, that would be a big ass thing. Like, I don't even think they would have to offer. I don't think Sony's ever going to go as far as offering Sony games day one on whatever their Game Pass exclusive is, right? Like maybe back catalog stuff or things that have been out for a little while. Like, we're going to sell Spider-Man 2, right? We're going to sell it for 4 months, and then 4 months later it's going to come to whatever our Game Pass thing is. But if they could do the backwards compatibility, that's the thing. The PlayStation 2 is ripe for, like, you could just make an official way for people to play PS2 games. Fucking Nintendo is jacking up the N64 Game Pass expand, or
people are doing it. People are buying that shit.
It sucks. And like, Microsoft does a really good job with the 360 and Xbox original Xbox games, but like a lot of those 360 games, there's still a shitload of stuff from the PS3 era that was not on both systems, and there is a shitload from the PS2 era that isn't anywhere near what Microsoft is offering.
Oh, hell no. Like,
so
that's the thing, is that like these backwards compatible things are so rare, and these games are getting harder and harder to get and harder to even emulate.
Yeah.
There's so many games that people want to just play easily that you're just like, I can only get a physical copy of it for like $300 in eBay.
Yeah.
Like, that's where we're at for a lot of these games. It's the issue a lot of gamers have in general, is the preservation of games. It's just not a thing.
Yeah.
Like, these people are fighting for their lives trying to get these things kept somewhere, where in case, like, you know, everything goes down, that they're like, hey, we have this whole library of just like every fucking thing ever. And people are just constantly trying to get that sort of thing filled up. And PlayStation has one of the biggest fucking back catalogs outside of Nintendo's, because Sega's ends at a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
Where Sony just kept going.
Yeah.
And the PS2, like you said, is one of the biggest fucking eras in gaming history. And there's so many fucking things on it that we would love to be able to play again without having to fight a guy at a flea market or fucking like fight a guy on eBay for something. Like, there's so many of these games that I'm just like, I'm never going to be able to play these ever again because I can't find them anywhere.
It's also weird that we're running into, because last week I believe we had a story about the next iteration of drivers for the DLSS GeForce stuff. We're also running into a technological point where our current methods of rendering old games have gotten so sophisticated they can literally make old games look better.
Yeah.
Like, you can literally take an old game and make it run in 4K. I was playing fucking Lightning Returns, like, on my Xbox Series X in 4K, and it looked beautiful. Like,
yeah, oh shit.
But not just that, I feel like we're on the precipice with the AI stuff of being able to take older games and literally use, at least on the PC, I don't know how much it's going to work on the consoles, but being able to take old games and like literally make them look better before they get to the screen. And so if you had if part of this was Sony saying like you can play PlayStation 2 games in 4K and they will look better than if you just put them in a PlayStation and play them. Like if you have the hardware that they were created to run on, they will look worse than if you played them on a PlayStation 5. Like that's a value add that combined with their catalog would be titanic.
Yeah.
All right. That was part one. I was like, I don't know this week if we're going to have enough news, Michael. I have a whole other show. This is a whole second half.
This is just, it's like I said, it's titanic fucking news.
Yeah.
That like we spent fucking, before we recorded Nobody Saves the World.
Yeah.
We spent like 30 minutes just talking about this.
Oh yeah.
Not even it's not even a verbatim thing that we talked about now.
Yeah.
We had completely different thoughts about this the last time we were talking about this.
Absolutely. It's huge. It's huge, and it impacts like the entire landscape of games, and yeah, we'll have to see what happens. But before we see what happens, I mean, not what happens in the next 5 minutes. I doubt anything's going to change.
No.
We might actually, I don't know. We might go on break and come back, and the whole landscape of games have changed entirely. It's like we just went downstairs in my house, and then we came back upstairs, and like it's just Mad Max. It's just the Thunderdome now.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Anyway, you'll have to stick around and find out what happens next. We're back, and okay, I'm looking around the gaming landscape. It hasn't changed in the 10 minutes that we've been on break. So
what about? Oh no, that's a mirage.
I think no, it's fine. It's fine. There's a bunch of apes, but the same apes that we saw before.
Same ones. Except for that one's Donkey Kong now.
Never gonna stop. Never gonna stop fucking razzing on NFT bullshit.
No, we're never going to stop until NFT stop.
Yeah. All right. So we have a whole bunch of regular news. A lot of this. So I've tried to spice it up a little bit. Like a lot of this is kind of. Like we have a lot of Battlefield 2042 news and some bullshit about Cyberpunk and whatever. But there was an interesting report that came out last week from GameIndustry.biz that talked about what did the gaming CEOs make in 2020, the pandemic year that was a pandemic. I mean, not like we're exactly licking each other on the face right now, but I mean, not right now, not on the microphone,
not without money. At least.
So I thought this was really interesting because I'm going to say right now, number 2 was Bobby Kotick.
He was number 2?
Number 2, $151 million. Bobby Kotick, Activision Blizzard. Number 3. But see, there's some interesting stuff going on here. Like, I wouldn't just be doing this if I was just going to, like, roll down the list and it was everybody that you expected. But, like, number 3 is Andrew Paradise from Skills with a Z.
The fuck?
$103 million. Skills with a Z is an esports, like, facilitation company.
Huh.
So that should tell you something, right? Like,
yeah, I guess. I think I don't really know what happened.
Well, because Andrew Paradise from Skills made $103 million last year. The next person on the list, number 4, is Andrew Wilson from EA with $34 million. Mm-hmm. So, like,
that's fascinating.
I think everybody should take like Strauss Zelnick of Take-Two is number 7 with $18 million.
That's crazy.
Like, guys, okay, listen. Android Wilson. I don't like Andrew Wilson very much. $34 million. Bobby Kotick, $154 million. Like, you just gotta, like, there's a reason why we keep seeing this shit about Bobby Kotick and nobody likes him. And it's just like, even compared to the richest CEOs in gaming, you're making 5 times as much as the guy that runs Electronic Arts.
Which is fucking insanity to me.
Like, that's crazy. Yeah. So if we go down the list after Electronic Arts, it's Frank Gibeau from Zynga with $30 million, $32 million. John Riccatello of Unity at $22 million. Strauss Zelnick. Take Jen Kim from NCSoft for $15 million. Check that out. NCSoft. That's a name I've not heard in a long time.
I haven't heard that in a very, very long time.
Min Liang Tang from Razer is $100 million or $10 million.
Okay.
And Debbie Bestwick from Team 17 is a paltry $10 million. Now, you might have noticed that I skipped a number, Michael.
I did notice, yes. and it's hidden from my view.
It's hidden from your view, so you can't spoil it. Actually, I don't know. Here, you know what? Let me reveal it to you, and then you can spoil it for everybody. Who do you think is number one on this list?
I don't know. I generally don't.
You want to tell him?
I can't read that very well.
Robert and Tokol from Playtika.
What the fuck is that?
$372 million.
What the fuck?
Have you ever heard of Playtika before?
No.
I hadn't either.
Not that I can think of.
It's like an Israeli-based company that makes like gambling phone apps that are really popular in like Eastern Europe and Russia.
That explains a lot.
Yes, but let's just that's more than double what Bobby Kotick made.
Yes, it is. It is more than double.
Like, guys, seriously, it was like, fuck phone games. I hate phone games. It's like the guy that made the most money in the gaming industry last year was a dude that made like slot machine phone games for fucking Russians and shit.
Well, here's the funny thing: as much as we say we hate phone games, that's literally only this specific country.
Yes,
because if you look at every other country on the planet, they all fucking love phone games.
Yeah,
they can't get enough of those fucking things. That's why all those betas are like purely like European or in China.
Yeah. So like, yeah, you just gotta put things in perspective. I feel like a lot of times I want to put things in perspective of just like, I don't like Call of Duty, but it makes a shitload of money. I don't play phone games, but motherfucker,
yeah,
like,
holy fuck,
Jesus. Do you want who knows? Do you want to know who's at the bottom of the entire list? This is
sure.
The top 42 in the industry in 2020. Lars Wingefors of Embracer Group. I don't know.
With a name like that, he has to be making money.
Yeah, $162,000.
That's still not too bad, considering.
Dude, I would take $162,000 a year in a heartbeat.
I would too.
Yeah. So, yeah, never feel bad for corporations or the people what work at them. Like, you know, I don't feel bad for any of these people because the amount of money they made is goddamn unreal and would change any one of our lives in a lot of different ways. So,
yes.
Speaking of people making a shitload of money, we had a really brief blip about scalpers again this week. So we're still dealing with scalpers. This was reported on by VGC, talking with a guy named Jack Bayless, who runs a company called Aftermarket Arbitrage, which is one of those paid subscription services.
Oh, those guys,
then tell you when the shit's about to come out onto the market. This is just your weekly fuck a bunch of scalpers story.
Yeah.
Because he had an incredibly stupid quote where he said, talking about scalpers, he said, what they're doing is they're being entrepreneurs. They're going out, creating a side income, and they're doing something that 90% of the population can't be bothered to do. It's like, you're not smarter. It's just the rest of us understand that this is wrong and some horse shit. And that's why we don't do it. Like, you could do it. You could be a filthy fucking scalper, but then you'd have to look in the mirror, live with yourself, and be like, I'm ruining children's lives for money.
No, the other issue is that like a lot of people can't be scalpers because they only have enough money to get one of these things.
Yep.
And these scalpers are already kind of rich to begin with.
Yep.
Because they're able to buy 4 or 5 PS5s at a time.
Yep.
I was able to buy mine because I held on to just enough from the stimulus that we had got, the first one.
Yeah.
For like a year or two, waiting to like hopefully get one.
Yeah.
That was the only reason I was able to get that one.
When they announced it, I started saving. When they announced them, I started saving money and to know that it's like, I'm going to have these consoles. So,
yeah, and the Xbox, I got through the financing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. He also said, this Bayless character also said, look at every single step in the supply chain. Someone is adding value somewhere. It's not being sold at cost price. It's capitalism. Right. What fucking value are you adding? You motherfucker. You're just that's not what value? Like, you know what? I would have more sympathy if they literally put it in, like, if they wrapped it like a Christmas present in between when they bought it and when they sent it to the next person. If they fucking wrapped it up and put a bow on
like
it,
a really nice presentation.
Yeah. Like, you are adding zero value. You are just using like loopholes in the market to do some capitalism bullshit. Like,
that's the fun. My favorite thing is him being like, "It's capitalism." It's like, yeah, this is a great example of why capitalism is fucking terrible.
Yeah. So,
like, just people just want these consoles, guys.
Yeah.
And you're just making it like you're making it impossible for any of these companies to actually make actual money because the software sales aren't matching their hardware sales because of it.
I don't know. It's
capitalism is fucking everyone, is what I'm saying, except
terrible.
for these specific people.
I think I'm just going to go back to my platform of, like, I think we should just take one of these guys and, like, drag him out in the middle of the street, beat him with a baseball bat, put it on YouTube, be like, all right, your move. Like, do you doing this? Whoever's doing this, next up. If I find a fucking garage full of NVIDIA graphics cards, the sentence is, we're going to take you out in the middle of the street, beat you with baseball bats, put it on YouTube.
I don't remember if I used the Norm Macdonald quote last time, but where it's just that it's an old Norm Macdonald Weekend Update quote. He's like, this may seem insensitive to most viewers, but I hope everyone in the story dies.
Yeah. It's just shitty. Shitty. Anyway, not shitty. You know about Awesome Games Done Quick? Which is like the speed running kind of live stream that does like a fundraiser every year.
Yeah.
Apparently this year was their biggest yet. They raised $3.4 million for charity.
Man, good for them.
Which is great because it went on for a little while. Did a whole bunch of stuff. Was all remote. And it's kind of spread out to a couple of different charities. But that's great. That's a wonderful thing to do.
The thing I hate, and I don't hate these guys specifically, but I hate the fact that, like, a lot of news companies will never really put this story out there.
Yeah.
Because they just don't. They want to keep the games in this weird bubble of just, like, housewives and stuff being mad at them.
Yeah.
Not knowing that, hey, they just raised $3.5 or $4 million for charity. Because no one's ever going to find out outside of, us. But luckily it's a lot easier now to get it out there.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that's probably one of the reasons why they're able to make as much as they did.
Mm-hmm.
Because, these people have been doing a lot of great work for a long time, and it's always entertaining to watch any of these, if you have the time at least.
Yeah. I like to watch certain speed runs. I think I watched one where it was like, it was a really weird one where I think it was last year, maybe the year before, where it was a guy that was playing both regular Punch-Out and Super Punch-Out with the same controller.
Oh, yeah.
It was really weird to watch. Like, speedrunning both games simultaneously with the same controller.
Some crazy shit. One of my favorites is that IGN started doing this, where they started showing the developers people's speedruns.
Oh, yeah.
And one of them, I think, it was either Doom or Doom Eternal, but it's like they're watching a speed run and they're just like, look at that guy just skip all this shit that we made. And he found, like, one of them found, like, the secret, because, like, a lot of developers, they make a specific area way in the middle of nowhere in the files of, like, a room that's just all of the weapons for that they can use for, like, testing.
Yeah.
The guy found a way into that room. Kind of thing. And he was like speed running his way, and then just like they're like, how did he get in there? like stuff like that. Like, we need to figure out a way to get that accessible. Who did that? Like, stuff like that. And it's just like, yeah, speedrunners, man, they'll find whatever it was. You'll be like, oh, I hid this invincibility thing here just so I can, finish this thing. But no one's ever going to find that. They're going to find it.
They're going to find it.
If you don't turn it off, they're going to find it.
They're going to find it. Remember when Fallout 76 had that room and people got into it and they started banning people for going into the room?
Yeah. Because they kept getting all the best weapons.
Yep. Yeah. So that's good. All right. So you had a nice little squirt, a nice little good story to make everybody feel good.
Yeah.
Ready for the next one? Ready for the bad story? What's that?
This is about Tim Allen getting more Santa Claus things?
Nope. This is about Troy Baker.
I watched this in real time, by the way. I remember when this when this all happened on Twitter. I was watching this in real time.
Troy Baker is selling voice NFTs. Okay. Do you understand this, Michael? Because I don't understand this. Like, this is a website that is selling quote unquote voice NFTs, right? Okay. So in your mind, when you hear voice NFTs, you're like, so Troy Baker is like, Michael's dick is so fucking huge. And you're like, oh, I want to buy that. I'll give you 1 Ethereum for your NFT, and then I'll have this NFT of Troy Baker. But that's not what it's being described as. It's like when you buy this, you get like a synthetic version of the person's voice. So it's like you get a synthetic version of Troy Baker's voice that you can use to make them say, I'm Troy Baker and I love butts. I eat butts every day for breakfast and I drink them too. I drink liquid butts out of a big mug full of butts, steaming mug butts. And the mug is also shaped like a butt. But the thing is that like,
it's a lot of word of the butt, by the way.
I'm just trying to get the weekly quote of the word butt into the Race podcast. So, but here's what I don't understand. What's a voice that Troy Baker does?
He does.
Is it Kratos?
He does Joel.
Joel? Okay.
He's Joel.
Okay, so let's say he does Joel. Like, let's say you buy Joel. You buy Troy Baker's Joel voice NFT. Does that mean that nobody else can buy Troy Baker's Joel voice NFT? There's only one Troy Baker Joel voice, and I'm buying the whole Joel voice?
Well, the thing about NFTs is that you have that specific version of the Joel voice because that's the one that's minted.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm talking? You know what I mean?
I mean, sort of.
Well, because that's the thing about NFTs that are stupid is that people are just like, well, this is like it's like my phone basically.
Right.
This is a Pixel. You have a Pixel as well.
I do,
but it's not the same Pixel.
It is not,
but it's also the same Pixel at the same time. You know what I mean?
Oh Jesus Christ! But see, okay,
that's what an NFT is.
All right, no, but the thing is that most NFTs are different, right? So like, if you bought if we went to Best Buy and we both picked up a Pixel and we came out and we unboxed them, right? Like what we got was essentially the same thing. Right, like the bullshit Ubisoft helmet from Ghost Recon. It has a number to indicate like this is a specific.
But
thing.
that's what I mean. That's how it works, though.
Okay, but how do you differentiate between
the blockchain, Jeff?
Troy Baker 1 and Troy Baker 2.
The blockchain.
No, that's not an answer.
That's the answer.
That is not an answer.
The answer is the blockchain.
But
I'm not fucking with you, by the way.
But if they are the same voice, then they are the same product. Like if it is
again the blockchain.
No. Like the actual practical application of having Troy Baker Joel voice only has value if I'm the only one to have it.
And now you see the issue with NFTs, Jeff.
No, I know the issue with fucking NFTs. Don't you come in here and tell me about the issue with NFTs.
Blockchain.
I know the issue with fucking NFTs. That's not what I understand though. Like I'm just like, but.
Well, the point is he's not trying to. The point is he's not going to. The way the company is saying it is that they're not going to sell more of these of that specific voice.
So only one person gets to buy the Joel voice.
That's supposed to be the idea. The issue is that the company that he's doing it with apparently is already being accused of stealing people's voices.
Well, of course, of course.
The other issue is the way he worded his tweet.
Oh yeah, yeah. He said. So Troy Baker's tweet announcing this was, "I'm partnering with @VoiceVerse NFT to explore ways where together we might bring new tools to new creators to make new things and allow everyone a chance to own and invest in the IPs they create." By the way, if only one person could have Joel voice, then that's the ability for one person to invest, not everybody. But then he says, we all have a story to tell. You can hate or you can create. What'll it be? I should do that in my Joel voice. What'll it be, Ellie? I don't know how to do Joel's voice.
It's fine. Just grab a golf club and hit somebody with it.
That's right.
That's your impression. Yes, no, then he got ratioed to fuck.
Yep.
And it was amazing.
As well he should for being an aggressive fucking crypto bro. Again, I am convinced. I said this back when we had our whole fuck NFT episode. It was like 2 episodes ago. My God,
it wasn't even that long ago.
Okay, there are these dudes that are convincing these motherfuckers to do this because they say they're going to get a lot of money. Like, I don't believe that Troy Baker believes in the blockchain. I believe that he believes in some investor that came to him and said, Mr. Baker, you will make $1 billion if you put the Joel voice on the NFT marketplace.
He believes probably in the Matt Damon speech. You know that fucking crypto.
I don't even know what that is. Like
you know the commercial about.
No, I haven't seen it. I don't know what that is.
Well, Matt Damon has a commercial about being like, "Oh, fortune favors the bold" kind of thing about like crypto and stuff. He's like, "You should be like you're pioneers." Is the idea is what the commercial's saying, and I think some of these actors and stuff are just falling for these things as new. They see them as new ways of getting to new people or a new audience.
Yep.
Because Rob Paulson. The voice actor for Pinky, He was convinced originally by, I think, Tara Strong, because Tara Strong wanted to was kind of doing the same thing, and so she convinced Rob Paulson to do it, and then people explained to Rob Paulson what an NFT was and what it does, and with everything else.
Yeah,
and he was like, "Oh, well, now that I know what it is, I'm just not going to do it." And that's kind of what it is here, because Troy ended up coming out. I don't know Troy specifically. Troy Baker ended up coming out with
my buddy Troy.
My buddy Troy. I have a picture with Troy Baker. I do actually. But Troy Baker came out with another tweet like way down the line where he's like, "Oh, I kind of like put my foot in my mouth a little bit, but I've read your guys' replies. I'll look into like a little more of it." Like at least he's like trying to be a little more civil about it. But he was like, "Yeah, my wording for that tweet was fucking terrible."
I cannot wait for this whole fucking industry to fall over into a dumpster and catch on fire. Like,
have you seen that metaverse video that was being shared on Twitter?
I don't think so. No.
So some dude, some crypto bro or something, shared this thing. He's like, "Here's us in the metaverse having a rave," and it looked like the worst fucking
just Ugandan knuckles everywhere.
Well, no, it
with
was
Troy
like
Baker's voice.
It was basically like if PlayStation Home it was even worse than it already was. But like,
gross.
And it was just a bunch of like nondescript fucking avatars standing in like a small room with like a dude
hitting
with,
slash dance
with a music. They weren't even dancing; they're just standing there, like they're not doing anything.
Oh my God.
Like, and they're just like, "This is exciting because it's the metaverse and we're like having a rave." I'm like, nothing's happening. Like Second Life was more interesting than this.
I feel increasingly disconnected from all of reality, where people are like, "Oh my God, I'm so excited and I'm willing to spend thousands of dollars," and I'm like, "What? Are you high? Like why? Why?
VR chat is more interesting than all of these things I've seen.
Why?
It's insanity, Jeff.
I don't get it. I also don't understand why, if only one person could buy the Joel voice, why anybody would buy it. Well, yeah.
The blockchain, Jeff.
The block, yes, obviously the blockchain.
That's the answer, Jeff.
Also, these managed
it's like nanomachines, but for NFTs, blockchain.
rope in Charlotte Chung, the voice of Diva in Overwatch, is also going to be on this bullshit. So,
some of my favorite quote replies to him, were voice actors just being like, "Man, I've lost so much respect for you now." Like the guy who voiced Spider-Man in the Avengers game, he one of his tweets were just like, "Dude, I looked up to you, and this is fucked up."
Yeah,
it's all fucked, guys.
I don't
It's
get
gonna be
it.
a civil war among voice actors soon.
I don't get it.
All because of NFTs.
I don't get it. And I don't get it. It's fucking
The answer's
horseshit.
blockchain, Jeff.
Yeah, blockchain. Yeah,
I will
sure.
say it.
No, I
don't understand NFTs, but that's pretty much what the answer has been
Blockchain.
every time anybody says anything.
Validation. Nodes. Like
nanomachines, Jeff.
Nanomachines.
The nanomachines.
Somebody on the Discord was asking if we could speed run. You and I could speed run explaining the entire plot of Metal Gear because we were talking about the
Hell yeah,
insanity.
let's do this shit.
And I just
got
made
3 hours.
I just took the Ancient Aliens guy and in a meme generator just put nanomachines below it, and I was like, there you go. That's the explanation of Metal Gear right there.
For like 90% of a lot of characters.
You already know 75% now. Okay, in other angry people news, the guy, one of the people that used to work at BioWare.
Is he a wizard based on that picture?
No, this is Mark Dara. He's one of the former executive producers, and he has his own YouTube channel. And apparently, I didn't look into his YouTube channel, but it's just him like sitting in front of this camera, and he's explaining what I think we all know, which is quote unquote BioWare magic.
So he is a wizard.
He's using the hockey stick metaphor, where he's talking about how like in the beginning of development, like things are slow going over time, and like things are kind of getting put together and ideas are getting put out there.
Oh, and then crunch.
But then at a certain point, when things are a certain amount together, it just everything kicks into super fucking high gear, and like it goes into crunch mode to get the thing out on time. And he's explaining like this is a bad thing. Like if you were to, at a certain point, he kind of puts the whole thing together into like, he's like, you never know when that pivot is going to happen, right? And all through development, everybody's telling you, like, don't worry. Like, eventually this is going to happen, and the game will get made. And then he starts talking about how, like, it would be better instead of a hockey stick if you just had a gradual upward slope of development that was set to basically, like, you know,
like a schedule,
right, with like milestones and shit like that. It's a really interesting little thing, and he just goes out of his way to talk about how it's a bunch of shit. He also goes out of his way to talk about how like it's not just BioWare. Lots of companies do this.
Oh, so many of them
where
do,
they have like a
apparently.
really slow ramp up, and then like once things start to click into place, it just turns into this fucking like, now we have to make everything work in the next 3 months. Because he says in the thing, it's like if the development rate went at the pace that it was at the beginning of development, it would take like 20 years to make a video game.
Like that one fucking, what is that game? You know what I'm talking about.
Which one?
The Kickstarted space game.
Kickstarted space
Not
game.
Kickstarted, but they've... they keep
Elite.
getting-
No, not Elite Dangerous. Star Citizen.
Star Citizen.
Yeah.
Star Citizen is that game.
Yeah.
Because I've never seen it finally click and then go upwards. It's consistently getting more money and never making a game.
You know, Michael, I finally bought a new PC, and I'm pretty sure that I bought Star Citizen at one point over the course of Rage Slide.
Who knows? This is the thing. Star Citizen's been around for so long.
I got to go back through my thing and see if I can find my login, and then like, because apparently they've had like betas and shit. Like, there's versions you can play.
But that I don't even know anymore. Is the thing.
I don't know. Maybe
Who
eventually.
knows what state that game is in at this point?
Who fucking knows? There's no way that it. I don't. That game is ridiculous. Anyway, I highly recommend everybody go watch this because this guy looks like a wizard, and he'll tell you why game development should be done a different way. And yeah, he's got his YouTube channel is called Old Game Dev Advice, and it looks like it was made in 1994,
Which is kind of amazing.
and it's very. He doesn't have a shitload of videos, but it was a good video, and it was only like, oh no, actually, never mind. He's got a shitload of videos. Oh yeah, he's got
when did you start doing it?
11 months ago.
Okay, well that's a lot. That's actually a pretty good amount for 11 months ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for him.
And like the BioWare Magic one is 7 minutes long, so right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they all don't seem to be too long.
You don't have to watch a 2.5 hour video about NFTs. So
Data machines.
Data machines. Man, Hideo Kojima needs to do something with NFTs.
He will, and it'll be glorious.
It will.
It'll be the one time I'm cool with it.
Yeah, then I'll buy him. He needs to make his own cryptocurrency called like Foxcoin, and then I would be like, "Ooh, I hate NFTs and everything about the blockchain, but I want Foxcoin."
That'd be cool. Yeah, I actually like. See, again, I love Kojima so much. Whatever he did, I probably would go with.
Yeah. So, all right. I said we were going to talk about Battlefield 2042. We're going to talk about Battlefield 2042. Battlefield 2042 is getting some updates. It got a very small update this month that like the fucking patch notes on it are so small that like it's bullshit. It's just like fixed a bunch of shit, fixed a bunch of shit, fixed a bunch of shit.
Oh, it's one of those
fixed a bunch of shit
updates.
Yep. But next month, apparently, they're putting a fucking scoreboard into Battlefield 2042.
Oh.
Did you know Battlefield 2042 currently does not have a scoreboard?
I heard it used to, and then they got rid of it.
Yeah.
Like this one guy was at the top, and then they took it down, and he became a meme because of it.
Oh, no, not like a global scoreboard. Like, just like when you're playing a match, you could see how many kills you have.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah, like...
There just wasn't a normal fucking leaderboard?
Yeah, sorry.
Are you fucking kidding me right now?
Not a global scoreboard like the one that every other video game has.
Are you shitting me? What
No,
the fuck?
no.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever... Okay,
Yes.
what? I'm now dumbfounded.
I like the way that you went from like regular to like, yeah, I heard about this one guy. Like, no. Like when you hit tab in a multiplayer game, like that one.
That's fucking... What?
Yeah.
How did you... What?
Yeah.
What the fuck? What?
Well, it's because
I don't know what.
They wanted to do that thing kind of like Overwatch where it's not about like kill to death ratio or whatever. It's more just like, what was your overall calculated, how much did you help the team or whatever?
Isn't this a versus game?
Yes. Yes, it is. You are 100% correct, my friend. It is a versus game.
Did they at least know their team kills?
I don't believe so.
What the fuck?
I
How
don't
does
really
this work?
I don't really know, but like, I mean, we are 3-4 months from Battlefield 2042 launching.
I guess
2 months, 3 months.
It's a decent amount of time.
I don't know.
I think it was October.
It still doesn't have a voice over IP. It doesn't have voice comms.
Are you?
It doesn't have voice comms. They're planning next month to put a scoreboard into it.
What the fuck, guys?
Yeah,
What the actual fuck?
Like
I take back everything anything good I ever thought about Battlefield. I'm sure I haven't said a lot about it, but I take back any thought process I had about Battlefield 2042. Holy shit.
Yeah.
This is some next level fucking unfinished shit.
Yeah, last week we had last week we had a little bit of a controversy where they were talking about shutting down their subreddit because one of the developers was like just posted some shit on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
And they got all that shit. And then he was like, hey guys, man, we need to like have holiday time with our families and stuff. Like, chill out. And it was like, you guys shipped a broken game. Like, no, there will be no chilling out. Like, if it was free to play, yes, chill out. If it was a beta, yes,
That's what
chill
people
out.
are so chill about
Like,
Halo right now. Halo Infinite's like, it has a lot of busted issues, but it's a free-to-play game.
Yeah, but like a $60 video game with no single-player campaign, like, no, the multiplayer has to work. It's the only thing, motherfuckers.
The
like,
fucking hell, guys. And all of the trailers were like, look at how fucking detailed this shit is. And
yeah.
Nope, doesn't work nearly as fucking advertised.
So you want to know another thing that's broken in Battlefield 2042?
What besides everything else? What's up?
Besides everything else. So you know how they had that portal? Remember where you could like create custom game types where they were like, do it this way, do it this way. So what do you think that people used Portal to do, Michael? From at launch, what do you think they did? You used Portal for the most?
I don't know, to be honest.
XP farms. Because you just set up things
I
where
didn't think about that.
people just die and you get XP. So like you're supposed to kill a certain number of people to like level up your weapon to get like a different sight for it, or right?
Yeah.
So they would just create a thing where there was like AI level 0 character that can't do anything in a box, and you just walk up and keep shooting him in the face until you level up whatever gun you want.
Yeah.
So they had to shut down that whole feature. They had to shut down getting XP from that feature.
Oh, okay.
This inexplicable bullshit that I have on my screen right now is the plan for how they're going to open it back up. Actually, I should amend what I said before. You were unable to get any experience points on user-created content. Official modes that DICE put out, you could get that, but you could not get it because then they put the guy in the box and you shoot him in the face. So this is their plan moving forward. When you are doing Portal, you get full XP for featured experiences, read the shit that DICE and EA is making, like official licensed modes. You get a moderate amount of XP with a per minute cap if you are using custom experiences that has all modifiers except rules editor, AI, or damage/health.
Yeah, to keep people from killing people right away.
Yes. You get mastery XP, but only up to rank 12, so you can't prestige or whatever with it. You get no weapon XP for doing that, but you get a limited amount of player XP. And then there is restricted, which is custom experiences using rules editor, AI, or damage/health. You can get limited player XP. No mastery XP, no ribbon XP, no weekly mission XP, just like 300 XP per minute cap, and that's it. But like the thing is that's like your player level, right?
Yeah.
But you need to like upgrade, you need to like level up your guns to get a better sight on your gun, right? So they basically have just nerfed this entire feature because they went to roll out a thing where players could write their own rules and didn't anticipate that people were going to use it to cheat rampantly constantly.
Yeah, I didn't think about the fact that people were going to, do what you normally would do with something like that.
Right. Great idea. Every time there is a way for users to make their own content in a game that has an online progression system, the first thing they do is make XP farms so that they don't have to go through your bullshit grind. Because newsflash, everybody, no one wants to level up the thing. You just want to be a high level. Like, nobody wants to do the work. Like, the work isn't fun.
You just want the thing that, like, you want. Like, you want the gun with the specific sight that you want.
Yeah.
But the fact that you have to put it behind a lot of things is really annoying to a lot of people.
Yeah. So, good job.
Good job, guys.
Everybody.
Good job fucking
going. Jason Murphy is so mad. He's so fucking mad at EA because he loves Battlefield.
No, I can't blame him. Yeah, I can't blame him at all. The more I find out about it, I didn't know nearly as much as I knew. Apparently, I thought that I knew about Battlefield 2042 because I'm just now shocked at everything.
I mean, I don't think I really nailed it down as hard when we were talking about it when it launched, but like, it's a beta. It's like, it's not finished. Like, they obviously had problems, and corporate was like, it's got to be out before Christmas. Put it out. Like, And they did, and it's broken. And now they're like, well,
Super broken.
we can just put it out, and then we can fix it. But the problem is that they put it out when Call of Duty and Halo both came out, and it's like, people have options, motherfuckers.
And those are they're free-to-play versions of both of those things right
yeah.
there.
So
yeah. And Game Pass makes it easy to... You don't even have to pay for Master Chief Collection either.
Yep.
So many ways to play other shooters at the moment.
Yep. So you could go play Warzone, but also you're going to have to watch out in Warzone, Michael, because the cars are flying.
The water is doing what now?
The cars are flying. People have figured out a way to make the cars in Call of Duty Warzone fly through the air like airplanes. Just flying around like a fucking Harry Potter car. I kind of love it. I kind of think it looks great, but
This is kind of amazing.
it's
I'm
really
watching a TikTok of
It's
it.
really stupid of just watching cars fly around like it's somebody in a helicopter following somebody with the car.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
The Harry Potter bed is the title of that.
What was the other one? I wonder if I could find the other one. If this is a thread. This is a Reddit thread, so I think it's got some more in it. This other one was this. Oh, I don't. I haven't seen this one. There was another one that I saw where basically a bunch of guys, like two guys, like one of them was cheating with the car and the other one had an aimbot. And so they got in the car, flew it up as high as they could, and then were just aimbot sniping people around the map from like up in the air.
Sorry, we just saw the climax of this video.
Yeah.
The guy used the fucking flying car to slam a guy on the second floor.
And he's wearing the ghost face skin from fucking Scream. Like,
that's amazing.
I kind of wish that there was a multiplayer game that just embraced this bullshit.
I'd be cool with that. Like, there's no like experience or like real anything. Just batshit insanity. I'd be cool with that.
So, yep. Good thing that.
Christ.
It's great that Activision is currently trying to fire their entire QA division for Warzone.
Jesus Christ. Glorious nonsense, guys.
Yep.
Glorious nonsensical purpose.
All right, but you know what? There's 3 multiplayer games. We've talked about Battlefield. We've talked about Call of Duty. There's only one left. There's only one new multiplayer game left.
Is it Halo?
To throw some shit at.
I assume it's Halo.
I'm winding up with my shit hand. That's not true. I don't have a shit hand. Actually, 343 is cutting the price of a bunch of Halo Infinite stuff this week. So,
and it's actually hasn't been too bad of a slash so far.
Yeah. Say more about that.
Okay, so the when this game came out, a lot of the prices were really expensive. Like, because for like very little stuff, like it would be like, oh, you can get the skin with maybe like 2 shoulder pads for like $20.
Oh shit!
And it was just like, what the fuck? Like what? Like one of them is it's an AI. Like like in the game, you have a little AI companion dude that's like that will say random shit while you're playing.
Okay.
They made one based on this like really popular
Snoop Dogg.
Like meme from like way back. It was this it was the really badly drawn Master Chief. I forgot the name of it.
Okay.
I think it's just Mr. Chief, I think was his name. Something like that. And it was like, we love this guy. Like we can't wait to buy him. It's just the AI and then like I think some colors and that was it.
Yeah.
But that was also like $20.
That's a bit much.
And yeah, people were like, are you fucking stupid? Like that's insane. Like why would anyone want to do something like that?
Yeah.
And so they've essentially slashed them in half.
Okay.
So now they're like closer to like $10 and now you get like a little more for it. And the more expensive ones are like maybe essentially $12 kind of thing.
Okay.
Like at most. Whereas before, like I said, they were like $20 like max, like, and there were very little that you got for it, and so people just weren't buying things at it. Like I didn't buy a lot of stuff from it either. Like I bought like 1 or 2 things because I really wanted.
And you spent money on the Avengers.
I spent a shit ton of money on the Avengers.
So like if they were going to get anybody's money, it's going to be your money. They're never getting my money. They're never fucking getting my money, but they'll get your money.
Well, the issue with Halo is that like Halo's known for being this game where you have all these customization options.
Yeah.
But if you're locking a bunch of those customization options behind, because at least in Avengers when I'm buying an outfit, it's like an entire different, like I'm looking like a completely different like outfit.
Yeah.
Like from top to bottom.
Right.
Whereas with Halo, it's like you get the shoulder pad and this other shoulder pad and this color you don't fucking want, but you really want that shoulder pad. $20. It's like, no, fuck you.
Yeah, it's too much. It's too much money.
$20 on 2 fucking shoulder pads.
Yeah.
It's like, it's bullshit. And so yeah, people weren't spending money on it the way they wanted to, and so they're like, well, a lot of people are like, well, I'm willing to buy it, but I don't want to spend $20 on some
rein it in, guys.
Thing.
Yeah.
Pull it back on it. So a lot of the stuff now that was like fucking like also $20 or close to that are now like $5.
Okay.
Or some of them are like $10 kind of thing.
It's really easy to make a $5 impulse purchase on something in a console game.
It's super easy.
Like,
but when you say like, hey, if you spend the amount that it would order that you could spend on just another fucking game almost. Right. On like that's harder to do impulse buys on.
That's 2 Domino's pizzas. I could get diarrhea for 2 days for the amount that you want for those shoulder pads.
Well, because like say you wanted the shoulder pads, and then another one came out with the knee pads, and another one came out with like the chest plate that you wanted. Right. $20 for each is the fucking cost of buying Halo Infinite. Yeah. Or probably close to the amount, at least minimum, because I don't know if it's 70 or not.
It sounds like it was insanity when they did this between the battle pass and this and all that stuff, that it's like they just kind of put it all out at maximum, and now they're just going to be like dropping it until it gets to a place where the amount of people buying stuff is going to be profitable, right?
Yeah, because that's really what you need. Is like, it's a free-to-play game, so that's the reason I never had any issues with them costing money. Yeah. But the issue is that it costs too much money, because then you've outpriced the people who wanted it to begin with. Yeah. It's just really frustrating. That and the colors, there's still so many colors that people would like more customization options for. So they're looking into more ideas of like being able to get all this stuff and also keep these prices at a reasonable thing. Yeah. And there's some, like I said, they've done a decent job at it so far. A lot of people are a lot more happy with it. Some people are still a little iffy on some of them, but for the most part, people are a lot more happy with it.
All right. Well, if there's some people that are unhappy, there was were the parents in federal court who got their case dismissed. This started a little while back, and it was basically parents whose child had spent like thousands of their dollars in CSGO for weapon skins to put into lotteries, and they took Valve to court saying that Valve had misled them, that they had been misled, and that they had been duped into this money, giving them this money. This is their final appeal on this, and they lost it. And I thought it was really interesting. Why? Because they asked them like, well, have you ever played this game or opened Steam? And they were like, no. It's like, well, so you've never agreed to the terms that Valve has put out. So there's no way, if you've never read them, there's no way that Valve could have misled you, because you've literally never interfaced with Steam before.
Like you specifically have never looked at this thing. Yeah. Like maybe and the kid maybe, but even then, like, the whole terms and service are there specifically so this doesn't happen.
Right. Like, I don't actually think that it's legal for you as a parent to just like let your kid agree to a Steam agreement and then hand them your credit card and then just be like Pikachu face when something stupid happens with that. Like,
yeah, I've worked in enough companies where like people will be like, how come you can do this? I'm like, well, here's the paragraph where it says we can do this. Yeah. And they're like, oh, well, and then they back the fuck off because they've agreed to that purely based on the terms of services. Like, just using, here's the thing about terms and service that people don't seem to understand is you just using that a lot of the times means that you agree to their terms of service.
Yeah, 100%.
People don't understand that. Like, they were like, oh, I have to check a box. Like, no, you just have to, like, a lot of their terms and service are like, you staring at the front page of this website means that you agree to our terms and service.
A lot of it, I mean, I don't know how much it is anymore, but like, you know, back in the old days, like the thing you hit I agree when you install a video game literally says you don't own this game, like you are leasing it from us.
As far as I know, that's still a thing.
Yeah. Just by the way, hey man, I got a lot of sympathy for parents, especially when they don't understand. Because
I'm not mad at the parents or anything. Like they got fucked because they didn't understand what was going on.
Yeah.
And that's the issue with a lot. That's how they get away with a lot of these things.
Yeah.
Because parents are, like you said, they give them the credit card. They don't pay attention to what their kid is doing. And then it explodes in their face.
Yeah.
Because, honestly, they are being misled. It's just that, but they needed more to make that argument was the issue.
I'd like to throw out a quick tip here to all the parents listening to Rage Select, of which I'm sure there's like 8.
There's a bunch of grandmas though. We know that though.
All the nanas.
All the nanas.
Look, you can go to privacy.com. This isn't an ad. Like, I think the privacy.com is actually a really, really, really good service that everybody should use.
Oh, the card thing.
Yeah. And you can just set up a virtual card that has like you can set it like a daily, weekly, monthly, or just like a total spending limit where you can be like, here's a credit card number. Once this credit card hits $50, it cannot be used anymore. It is locked. Like it is done.
The issue is that a lot of the people get fucked over the most by these are just kids that steal these cards from their wallets and stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a whole clusterfuck is the issue.
Children are evil. They're evil, motherfuckers.
Well, children don't know any better. They see something that's shiny, and they're like, I want to use the thing that I have a great example I had the Spider-Man Runner game from my phone like years and years ago.
Okay,
and it had the currency that like you can either pay for or you get like after playing
daily
for fucking hours. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
I had a shit ton of them at one point. And this one kid, it wasn't my niece, it was my brother's girlfriend's kid.
Okay.
They were bored and they wanted to do something, and I was the only one that was like near them for some reason. So I was like, okay, here, play this fucking Spider-Man Runner game. Like it's harmless. They used all of the fucking currency that I had.
Oh,
like, because every time you die, it's like, well, you want to just start from here? You just use the currency to keep going.
And they're just like, yeah,
kind of thing. And they're like, because they don't they don't know any better. They're just like, it's fine. He's got a bunch of these, and they just plowed through it in like an hour.
Yep.
And then
they don't know anything. They don't know anything. Yeah.
I'm just lucky they weren't just like try to buy more of them. Like I was just like, this was on me. I should have known better. Kind of thing.
Yep. All right. I think this is the last online. No, we got a couple more online games. The Tilted Towers are back in Fortnite. Tilted Towers, the city in Fortnite, the kind of iconic city that was in Fortnite, was blown up at the end of season 1, and then
I don't know
didn't come back in
Fortnite.
season 2. Yeah. Anyway, it's coming back in season 3. If you play Fortnite, you want to go to Tilted Towers, boom, Tilted Towers.
Hooray.
Final Fantasy 14 is back on sale January 25th. Did you know that you could not purchase Final Fantasy?
I did.
Because their servers were so goddamn congested.
I didn't realize it had been this long, though. I thought, for some reason, I thought they were back on sale by now.
Yep. There's a whole bunch of new stuff. They're putting out some Oceania data servers. They're having some incentives. There's like free character transfers to get on the Oceania servers. Man, I played Final Fantasy 14. It's not fucking that good. Like, it's fine. Like, I played it a lot. Like, I played it after the Sunbreaker or whatever expansion.
Was this after the rework?
Oh yeah. 100%. Like 3 expansions in, I played it. Matt and I did a dojo for one of the expansions, and it was a fucking terrible. It was horse shit, and it was bad, and I shouldn't have done it. But like I've played this game, and it's still just an MMO, man. Like I don't understand.
A lot of this is the thing with WoW. It's a lot of WoW Exodus. Stuff. People just are. It's like a show of strength in the fact that they have options now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You know what? Speaking of Final Fantasy, I just noticed this on my sidebar. I didn't put the story in the list, but apparently Italian Parliament looked at a bunch of Tifa,
I know about this actually.
Tifa porn accidentally.
I can tell you about it real quick.
Tell me about it real quick.
So they were doing they were doing this Zoom meeting to present like essentially like Nobel Prize like thing stuff that they were doing.
Uh-huh.
And in the middle of it, I didn't look into who did it, but this video of just Tifa getting railed fucking ended up being like the main screen, like, because like you can share like the screen on Zoom.
Sure,
it became the main screen with audio and everything, and it was there for like 30 seconds. And everyone just sort of like stopped because no one knew what to do. And then like after 30 seconds, it went away. And then they were like, okay. And then they just went back to what they were doing.
Nice.
And they edited, of course, they edited out of the, the re-release of this stream they did.
Right.
But you can very easily find, like, the actual, like, the video. It's all, like, in Italian.
So it's just somebody was watching this and they accidentally shared their screen.
They shared their screen.
They were watching us during the Zoom meeting.
For 30 seconds.
They shared their screen. They didn't realize their screen was shared while they were jerking it. And then they finally realized what was happening. And then they took it off in the end.
Yeah, it was kind of amazing.
All right.
But yeah, it's all, like, yeah, you guys, if you guys really want to find it, you can find the actual like original uncut of that part of the stream, and it's really funny.
CD Projekt Red is probably getting ready to make a huge update to Cyberpunk 2077. This is basically just based on the way that the game files have been branched. The last time this happened was right before they did a huge update and fix. So probably going to be some Cyberpunk 2077 news on the horizon. That's less interesting than the fact that some PS3 games showed up on the PlayStation Store on the PS5.
What showed up?
It was like, so this was a person that was looking through the PlayStation 5 store, and they saw Dead or Alive 5 with like a buy this. So like normally if it was a PlayStation Now thing,
It has that symbol on it.
yeah, it would be like, hey, you want to play Dead or Alive 5? Get your subscription to PlayStation Now, play it whenever you want to. But this was like do you want to buy this PlayStation 3 game? This goes all the way back to when we were talking about PlayStation back catalog.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that we're going in that direction.
God, I hope so. I really do.
Because there's another thing that happened. This is a weird thing that I feel like most people wouldn't read into unless they're a weirdo like Jeff that fucking reads all this bullshit. So Sony has also pulled all of the PlayStation Now cards from retailers.
Oh, actually, I told you that one at one point. I don't know if it was on mic, because I found that out because of like a Twitter thread.
Yeah.
It was like somebody in the UK was like, hey, it was somebody in the UK GameStop was like, hey, we were just told to take down all of our PlayStation Now cards.
Yeah.
And then somebody in the reply was like, oh, I work at a GameStop here in the US. We were also told that, like apparently like a couple weeks prior to the UK one.
Yeah.
So there's some shit's going down.
So for anybody that doesn't understand, the PlayStation Now is PlayStation's like streaming service, like xCloud or Stadia or whatever, any of that bullshit. It doesn't work very well, but the PlayStation Now cards would be a way for you to buy a subscription to PlayStation Now. You can still buy PlayStation Network cards, and you can use those PlayStation Network cards to actually pay for PlayStation Now. But the fact that they're removing a direct way to pay for PlayStation Now, to me at least, indicates that either PlayStation Now is going to be what they turn into Game Pass, or they're going to shut it down because we're going to have native versions of PS3 games on, or it's just going to be there and they're eventually going to phase it out like they've done for other things.
Yeah.
And that they just don't want this front and center because they want to replace PlayStation Now cards with PlayStation Game Pass cards that you can buy. Like, this just indicates that there's something going on. There's something going on.
Yeah, they don't do this just like willy-nilly. It's not like they're like, oh, we're going to be sent a new batch of these.
Right.
That's not how that works. Like every time they're sent a new batch, they tell them, well, sell these like up front, like as much as you can. They just straight up were told, just don't even sell them.
Yeah.
Which is why that's fucking weird.
It is. It's very fucking weird.
Or not weird, but like we know something's happening.
Yeah. Something is definitely going on. I think it's just a matter. Actually, you know what? I'm curious about whether it's going to be. What do you think, Michael? Is it going to be E3 this year? July?
The rumor is that people think it's going to be something maybe that's going to be announced during E3, or it's just something they're going to
or whenever because they're not at E3, but
well, that's the thing is that's a time frame for people to come out with stuff in general.
Right, they'll have some kind of.
Some people think it might just be something they're going to announce during that time frame. Some people think it might just be something they're saving for maybe just another thing, like maybe the Tokyo Game Show, for all we know.
Yeah,
we're not really sure, but there's also rumors of what it could also be, like a series of tiers. Yeah, is the rumor that is the most prevalent one, which is that maybe it's going to be a tier system where it's like, well, the bottom is going to be like essentially what current PlayStation Plus is.
Oh, Plus, okay.
And then it's going to be a top version where it's like the Ultra, like PlayStation, like the Xbox, the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate is called,
right?
Like where it's like, well, that has 2 tiers where it's like, well, you can just have Gold, or you can also have the Game Pass tier.
Sure.
So people are thinking they're going to do something like that.
Okay.
So who knows?
We'll see.
That's the prevailing rumor, at least.
Speaking of PlayStation, we got some trailers. We got a beautiful Horizon Forbidden West story trailer that came out. This game's out in like 2 weeks or something.
Really,
like that.
Really soon.
Pretty close. Boy, howdy! is this like, here's the thing, man. I've been playing a lot of games on my Xbox, my Series X, but like Matt and I, we just started a brand new sequential of Ratchet and Clank, and it's like, you know, when Sony brings their A game, it's fucking gorgeous. Like, it looks so goddamn good.
This is the reason PlayStation, I'm not worried about PlayStation, is that they have games that look like this constantly, whereas Xbox's nicest looking game is a driving game.
Yeah. Like Halo doesn't look anywhere near as good as this. Like,
no, Halo Infinite could have come out on, or actually it did, on the last gen system.
Yeah.
Without any issues, I feel. Whereas, like, a Horizon, I'm like, man, this is end of life cycle fucking pushing your console to its limit for PS4. Whereas PS5, I feel like this is just the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, we're early days. I mean, considering also the fact that the PlayStation 5 doesn't have any of the fucking AI trickery, right? Like, this is all just raw processing power on the PlayStation 5. So
it's a gorgeous, like, even the last one was still really gorgeous, but this looks even.
It looks fucking really good, like
detailed,
really good between the physics of kind of like all the different stuff that's falling and crashing and exploding, and all the monsters and the robots and all the little individual gears and the particles underwater with the bubbles and sparks and lasers everywhere. And my God,
Sony's developers make the best single player fucking content out there.
Yeah. Hands
down. Like, I know people are like, oh, it's always these third person kind of things. Like, yeah, but they're fucking amazing every goddamn time.
Yep. It makes me really excited to see if, I mean, like, I definitely want to play this game. I liked Horizon Zero Dawn, but it makes me really interested to see like how much better Spider-Man 2 looks than Spider-Man 1 even did.
I'm so fucking excited for whatever Spider-Man 2 is going to end up looking like. And same with whatever Wolverine's going to look like.
True.
That game's going to be fucking gorgeous. So if they get even close to just the way Miles Morales looks.
Yeah, very true. But yeah, this looks really good. Like, really, really good. When is it? It says at the end, right? It says, what is it? No. Oh yeah, there's like a little teaser. What was that? 2/18.
Yeah.
So
not super close, but still pretty close.
3 week,
4 weeks.
1, 2, 3 or 4 weeks. Yeah, something like that.
That's still really close.
Let's see. All right, we got a lot of Japanese bullshit. We got the Kingdom Hearts official Nintendo Switch Cloud version trailer.
I love the comments, because the comments are the best thing about this trailer.
Oh, yeah?
The comments are a lot of people being like, whoever made the wish for putting Kingdom Hearts on the Switch must have done it on a monkey's paw. Because this cloud, people aren't excited about the fact that it's a cloud version thing.
Yeah.
Because that means that they're tied to they're tied probably more to the dock than they are anything else.
It's just got to be online, right?
Yeah,
or you want
the
LAN connection in order to have like the best performance.
Which is frustrating because people wanted it on the Switch to be able to play it wherever they wanted.
Yep.
But that's the issue with cloud gaming, is that that's not what you're going to get out of it.
Yep.
So at that point, yeah, it's just kind of pointless.
You know about the other problem?
What's that?
The pricing.
What's the pricing for it? I didn't even see.
It's being priced at basically original retail price for each version. It's not a single package. It's Kingdom Hearts 1.5 plus 2.5 Remix Cloud version is $40. Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue Cloud version is $50. Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind DLC Cloud version, $50. And then they have, so if you were to buy those one at a time, it would be like $130. They do have the Kingdom Hearts Integra Masterpiece for Cloud, which has all three, which is $90. They want $90 for this.
That's awful, because these things go on sale so often for the PlayStation.
Yeah.
For like $30.
Yeah. Yeah.
For all of them.
Yeah. And you don't have to be online.
What the absolute fuck?
Yeah. That to me just smacks of Square, right? That's a Square.
Well, it smacks of Square, but it also smacks of the fact that it's a new release, quote unquote.
Right.
Like for all we know, these are going to be the same where they're on sale all the time. But this means that no one is going to care.
Yeah. Yes. It is too much. It is too much money for old ass games. Like
for old ass games that are only on cloud.
Yep.
Like, okay, people would be more willing to spend something like that if this was a native thing that worked on your Switch that you could like play out and about. I could see people being willing to do that. People did that with like Doom and stuff.
Yep.
This is stupid.
It's really stupid.
This is a monkey paw wish for all those Kingdom Hearts people. Grant would be laughing in a corner if he knew how this is hurting Kingdom Hearts people.
Speaking of things that Grant would laugh at, we also got a trailer for Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel.
Oh my god.
It's a big old Yu-Gi-Oh! Card. It's not like a narrative thing. It's fucking Magic the Gathering or Hearthstone. Like
the thing is, I read the comments for this one too.
Yeah,
they're all really excited because they're all people who really like this game,
who like Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, this is definitely this is a game for people who like Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah,
it's like the trailer's saying the definitive Yu-Gi-Oh game. It's true for a lot of these people.
Yeah,
because especially during COVID. These people want a Yugi. It's time to duel for these people, but they don't want to go outside.
I've never watched a single episode of Yu-Gi-Oh, but it's like I didn't think that you would have a Yu-Gi-Oh game that didn't have the kid with the lightning bolt hair or whatever. Like I thought you had to have like a whole narrative reason to duel cards, but apparently just that. And then okay, fine, whatever. It just looks like a regular old card game. And then I kept looking at the Konami logo in the upper right hand corner. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, it's a horrible cash grab that's going to be nickel and diming you to death for new cards.
It's
and
a
packs.
free to play game, but here's the thing: is actual Yu-Gi-Oh is already like that.
Yeah. It looks like garbage, but whatever.
It just looks like a card game.
It looks like stupid.
It's a card game that's online, and these people are desperate to play these games. So
I guess
more power to the people, to those guys.
I suppose
we don't care.
I'll tell you. If you're gonna try to market garbage to me, Michael, it needs to be the fucking Boku no the My Hero Academia fucking battle royale game. I'm trying. I'm very tired. I can say it.
Boku no Hero Academia, I think is the name of it.
This looks like some bullshit right here.
It looks like some fun bullshit though. It's a battle royale My Hero Academia game.
Yeah,
and that in and of itself sounds kind of fun.
I think that if this comes out in the United States, that you and I are going to be obliged to play it. Because
I don't remember. I could have sworn I saw a tweet from them saying to sign up for a beta for something.
Yeah,
but I feel like it might have been this.
I don't want to do a beta. I want the full thing when it's out. Yeah, I mean, it's like all your favorite characters. At least they're not doing some bullshit like you got to make your own character like One Punch Man did in that one.
I love that's actually the reason I will probably try this is that you can actually be fucking All Might and run around and punching people in the face.
Even though you shouldn't be allowed to be All Might. No one should be allowed to be All Might. Like that's not fair.
That's somewhat true, but if I wasn't allowed to be All Might, I would probably just be Midoriya. But if I end up playing this, I'm gonna go on the mic with All Might and just walk up to people being like, "Young Midoriya," to like every fucking Midoriya I beat, and then punch them in the face.
Midoriya Shonen, plap.
Young Bakugo.
Yeah. That's some bullshit right there. I mean,
it looks like some fun, stupid bullshit.
There's also
those other games aren't all that exciting to begin with.
Well, that's true. There's the phone game that's coming out or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
We got a trailer for Danganronpa, Trigger Happy Panic Havoc Anniversary Edition, which was, I believe, on the Switch before, but actually came out on the Xbox One and PC with Game Pass.
Is this just the first one, by the way? Because I watched it, and it just looked like to be the first one.
Yes, it is just the first one. But yeah,
the best way to because the thing is, the trailer does no justice to any of these games. These games, like the
Are
best
you a
way
fan of Danganronpa?
I only know a little bit about them because I've watched a lot of Let's Plays from them.
Okay.
The reason I never really played them because they were originally PSP games,
right? And
then over time, as they came out, I just didn't have time to get into them.
Yeah.
That and I knew the ending because I watched the anime when they came out with, because they did an anime version of like the ending of it. But they're basically just weird, murdery, like they're weird Ace Attorney-ish type idea
trial
games.
Yeah.
Like somebody got murdered. It's up to you to figure out like who did it.
Yeah.
But the difference between it and like Ace Attorney is the way you solve them.
Yeah.
Like because instead of listening to like listening to people's testimonies and then testing them and presenting evidence, your evidence are essentially like these bullet things that you like fire at these at specific things they say to be like, that doesn't make sense based on this thing. And then there's like rapid fire versions of them or something like that. That's the thing. It's fucking insanity.
It is.
But it's a really like kind of neat, like especially if you like that sort of idea of a game, as well as like there's a lot of great like character stuff, and there's this really fucked up plot going on in the entire world of it.
Yeah.
Because I also watched the prequel anime they came out with that's supposed to be like, this is what got them to this point. And it's like, this is fucking insanity. It sounds stupid as shit when this is dark as fuck.
I would love to get into Danganronpa, but the aesthetic turns me off so hard that I can't do it.
That's the thing is I can't blame you on that. It's
the weird turning 2D character models, I fucking hate it. It looks like cheap garbage to me.
Well, they were PSP games, like I said.
Yeah,
it was their
I get
their
it.
way of getting it onto this system without like going over the top.
Yeah. No, I get it.
But the issues it became their aesthetic, and then they kind of had to keep it.
Yeah. Let's see. We got a really weird trailer for The Gallery. Did you watch this one?
And I was like, what the fuck is this?
Okay, so this is like a Wales interactive game, like one of those, like, we've gotten a new generation of like FMV games where you kind of choose your own adventure that are basically just like cheap episodes of BBC shows. But they're taking one of these and they're putting it in an actual UK cinemas where people can like wave glow sticks to indicate like what they want to make, and then like it does that on the screen. And I can't think of a worse fucking way to watch a movie like than to have the movie stop and everybody lifts their cell phones or their wacky glow sticks up in the air and waves them around. It looks like total shit to me, but I thought it was interesting.
The thing is, like, this is the sort of thing that would be at the Draft House,
right?
I could see the Draft House doing this and no one batting an eyelash.
Yeah. The thing is that it's also going to be on fucking consoles.
Okay, well that works too. So but, they need to make a Novelberry version of this though. I'd play that.
Oh shit! It's almost the end of the month. That usually means we get a bunch of internet comment etiquette.
He's working on one apparently. I think.
We got a new trailer for Artful Escape because Artful Escape is coming out on the PlayStation 5. Actually, it's already out, I believe, on the PS5 and the PS4.
Yeah, I think by the time this comes out, yeah.
I actually played all of Artful Escape.
You almost said Novelberry, didn't you?
Novelberry. I played all of Novelberry. It's fun enough. I don't think it's worth like full price, but it was on Game Pass.
Yeah, it was on Game Pass, but it's a really fucking just creative ass game.
Yeah, I got to tell you, it's like the actual gameplay boils down to 2D side scrolling with very minimal like jumping and like a kind of little Simon game where you have to repeat the notes that come out of a thing. It's got a great soundtrack though, and it looks really cool. It's just like it's not super interactive, so just know that going in. But it's a really cool game. Enjoyed it. And last but not least, we got a new Dying Light 2 video.
It's a Troy Baker NFT, Jeff.
It's 500 hours long. It's basically just like a character trailer. Thing is, like, I've been thinking a lot about Dying Light 2 since I complained about it last week. And it's not that anybody's changed my mind. It's like, I genuinely like Dying Light. I just don't want to play it forever. Like,
which is fair.
This trailer looks really cool. Like, I like the characters that I'm seeing. I like the kind of Fallout-esque dialogue system. I think it looks very nice. Like, it's got a very pretty look to it. It looks kind of like the like original Dying Light or like those Metro games, but like real jacked up to the latest fidelity.
Yeah,
right?
There's clearly a lot of work put into these because there's a lot of character models that are just like, man, you look fucking really realistic.
And like all the shadows and lighting, like I can't see a single place in this trailer where it looks janky or fucked up. Like it all looks very smooth, very nice. Very well put together.
There's some character movements that are like here and there that you could argue are a little janky, but even then, like they get cut so quickly, you're not really sure without seeing the full motion they're doing.
It's just
like that one right there when they were getting up for a second there.
I just don't want to play the same game for this long.
You don't want to hear Troy Baker's tones for 70 hours, Jeff?
No, I don't.
But what if it was an NFT?
So what if it's an NFT? Also, is that Rosario Dawson in this game? Like,
is it?
Character really looks like her.
I don't know. I don't know if it voices the character, but I definitely know that's Troy Baker's voice.
It looks a lot like Rosario Dawson. I can't tell if it's actually her, but anywho, yeah, I guess we'll find out. I mean, like in another couple weeks, basically.
Yeah, that's coming out pretty soon too.
Dying Light 2 is out.
The Dying Light game it was one of those games that I think went under the radar for a little bit when it first came out. But more and more people have really understood how special a game it was.
I really liked the first one, and after I watched this trailer, what it got me thinking about, Michael, was like okay, like, you know what this game is? It's like a Fallout game, basically. Like, it's like, the thing is that comparing it to like a first-person shooter, comparing it to like a Call of Duty game, right? Because it's a first-person game and it's an action game. Like, we are to a point now where modern production possibilities exist to create essentially a Bethesda RPG, but that has good action on top of it.
Yeah.
And when I think about it in those terms, I'm a little less salty. But even then, I'm like, I don't want to play fucking Fallout for 80 hours. I have played Fallout for actually more than 80 hours, but I played Fallout, I beat Fallout, I came back to it. I don't want to play one game in a row for 80 hours.
The thing is, like, games like this, or the games that are really long, are great for someone who doesn't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like, if a game like this came out during my high school, really early 20s, I'm sure I would have loved the fact that it's like, oh, it's 70 hours. That means I just have to buy this and then play this forever.
Yeah.
And I think that's great for those types of people. But, like, yeah, in the day and age that we're in now, that's so much more difficult to swallow that pill than it used to be.
Yeah. It's just like I've been playing Lost Judgment recently, and I think that, like, I think that has a similar, like, I don't know, you can beat it if you mainline the story in like 12 or 15 hours, and then like 40 hours to just do everything. Like, completionist is like 40 or 50 hours, something like that.
I think those are the Fist of the North Star game was too.
And like, I realized while I was playing it that, like, oh, I'm playing this Lost Judgment game, and I keep looking down at the clock, and I'm like, oh, I've put 14 hours in already. Like, I'm going to end up playing this for 30 hours. Like, it's not that. It's just that, like, I don't know, man. There's like a real difference between playing a game for 40 hours, playing a game for 80 hours. So
it has to have your attention really well. And there's not many games that can do that to me for longer than 30.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays.
I was also listening to a podcast that made a really good point where they talked about how, like, when games are really long, it's like you get really invested in a character, right? So at the end of those Yakuza games, when they're really long, it's like, oh my God, I feel like I've been on this cathartic journey with Kiryu Kazama, and we're finally getting to the end of it, and here's the end of it. But over on the Watch Out for Fireballs podcast, they made a really good point where they said, like, the difference in caring about a character between, like, 10 and 40 hours, like the difference between how much you care about a character in 10 hours and 40 hours is pretty big. The difference between how much you care about a character between 40 and like 80 hours is a law of diminishing returns. Like around 40 hours, like, I'm fully invested in this character. I don't need to spend another tens and tens of hours with them to care about them even more. No, I'm in. Like, I'm still playing at 40 hours. I want to know what fucking happens. You can do the dramatic conclusion now. We don't need another whole game to make me care even more. Like, I do care a little bit more after that amount of time, but not much more.
Red Dead Redemption 2 I think is one of my favorite examples of a game that I was like, this game is just so fucking long.
Yeah.
It's like, I like Arthur Morgan a lot, but I don't need nearly this much fucking time with this dude.
But no, I mean, like, I liked him in the first area.
That's the thing, is like, yeah, you like him a lot in certain, but then like, you're on the island, you're like, man, I don't want to fucking do this anymore.
Yeah.
Like, this is so fucking annoying. I just want this to end. And it just keeps fucking going.
And then there's like another third of the game left, and then there's the fucking after credits Johnny Marsden 20-hour RPG of its own. Like,
it's like, this is the epilogue. I'm like, this is a whole other fucking game.
Yeah.
Like, this the amount of time this takes, I probably could have finished the first Red Dead Redemption.
Yep. All right, let's finish it up here. Dying Light 2 on the Switch has been delayed. This is going to be another streaming version, obviously.
That's probably fine.
Yeah. So instead of February 4th, it's going to be delayed to an unspecified later date.
They're probably just trying to keep it working on the cloud, because that's the issue with cloud gaming, is it's like, how well does this feel when you're playing it?
Yeah.
They probably haven't gotten it to that point yet.
Probably so. Let's see. This is so strange. This is a news story, but apparently the Steam Deck is probably going to ship on time in February. So they basically kind of just put out a statement saying that, like, yep, we're on track. We're good to go. Bada bing, bada boom. So
good for you guys who bought those things.
Yep.
I saw that post that people have been sharing where it's like, it's the Steam Deck. I think it's a Steam Deck, and they're playing the new God of War because it came out on PC.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I can now fucking, like, if you would have told me, like, 5 years ago that I would be able to do this, like I would have thought you were a fucking crazy person.
I don't ever want to play something like God of War hunched over a handheld device.
I wouldn't either. But the thing is that like these people now have that ability, and good for them.
Yep. Let's see. Oh, I mentioned this a lot earlier, but no, this wasn't the same thing. Call of Duty Vanguard and Warzone Season 2 has been delayed a little bit. I'm sure this happened because of the fucking layoffs and all the trauma and all the bullshit. So, yeah, it was supposed to begin on February 1st, but it's going to be on February 14th. So just 2 full week delay.
That's not terrible, but people are very antsy when it comes to these sorts of things.
Disney and Tencent are making a mobile MMO Avatar game.
Okay. Anyways,
I feel like Avatar needs NFTs because I don't care about either one of them. Like, I feel like James Cameron's been trying to get me to care about Avatar for like a decade, and I just don't give a shit about Avatar. I watched it one time. I've never seen it again.
They came out with one movie, and they've spent like a decade being like, "Isn't Avatar the best?" I'm like, no one fucking cares.
And everyone is like, "No, we don't give a shit about Avatar."
They made a whole fucking theme park section of this thing, but apparently the theme park area is pretty cool. But at least from the people I've talked to have gone. But it's still a world that I don't give a shit about.
Yeah, me neither.
It's like, why? Like,
stop it.
You came out with one movie like a decade ago.
Stop
And they're
it.
like, we're coming out with more of them.
Stop.
It's like, cool, I guess. Like, they're making a game, like an actual game. So why would anyone care about this? It's fucking
bullshit.
Avatar. Fucking stop, guys. I only care about the Smurfs as my blue people. Or Tobias.
Speaking of mobile games, Fortnite is going to be coming back to the iPhone by way of GeForce Now. So apparently, like, you still can't play Fortnite on iPhone, but what you can do is apparently in upcoming update, you'll be able to open GeForce Now inside of the Safari browser on your phone and use it to cloud play a version of Fortnite on your iPhone. The end.
Good on you guys figuring out a dumb way around this weird shit.
Yeah. And then last but not least, we got a couple of fun things. We were talking about speedrunning earlier. One of the things that came out of Games Done Quick this year that was it makes me sigh. A speedrunner who beat Sekiro blindfolded.
Oh my god!
In just over 2 hours. I watched a little bit of this. He's using a combination of like mouse and keyboard. He does die. And he dies often because sometimes he just gets like lined up wrong in his muscle memory and just loses where he is because he's literally just like trying to use audio cues to figure out where he is. But like, there's just not that many audio cues. But it's still pretty goddamn impressive.
It's super impressive.
Under 2 hours.
Under 2 hours.
Not looking at the screen. And just muscle memory, like learning where the thing is. Using various things to try to figure out where he is. I watched him fight one of the boss fights, and it was pretty impressive. So
I'm always impressed by people do shit like that. Like I watched the one where they did Punch Out that way.
Yeah,
where
blindfolded.
Beat the entirety of Punch Out blindfolded, facing the other direction.
Yeah,
purely based on the sounds the fighters make.
Oh yeah,
and I was like, holy shit,
could definitely work. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. Those guys you can all go watch it. I'm sorry, I'm very tired, and it's the end of the podcast. I'm very tired.
Have them do it on a Guitar Hero controller next, and I'll be even more impressed.
I'm pretty sure that's already happened.
I mean blindfolded at the same time.
Oh, blindfolded on a Guitar Hero.
Blindfolded Guitar Hero, or maybe the drum set.
Yeah,
go from there.
And last but not least, there wasn't a lot of fun stuff this week, but we did get a trailer for the Cuphead show that's coming to Netflix on February 18th. And it looks pretty good.
It looks really good, actually.
It's not quite the animation is a little bit more modern than what's in Cuphead. Like, it's not emulating that kind of,
well, that's the thing. They have really fluid motions like a modern cartoon.
Yeah.
Instead of what you would see in like a Betty Boop cartoon.
And they not as many like loops, and even the loops aren't as squashy and stretchy, but still, like, for what they're doing, like, the aesthetic is still there.
Yeah, which is what I appreciate, because they could have gone a completely different. They could have made it look more like say Steven Universe's kind of art style, or even like the art style of fucking She-Ra or something.
Yeah,
but they've kept everything. they've kept everything the way the character designs are and everything and I think that's really why the trailer works for me.
Yeah.
Because it still looks very much like what Cuphead's universe is. Like, it would have been really cool if you did some super fucking old school, like, 1940s thing, but I think that would have been really difficult to make that a really interesting thing with it, because they're still trying to do a plot with it too. So
yeah, I don't think that that old animation style. I think that the modern tools that animators use are not built to make that style of animation. So it actually ends up being harder than what they're currently doing.
Exactly.
But,
and if you're trying to tell a plot doing something like that, like that's one of the reasons those cartoons work the way they do.
Yeah.
Is that they're serials. There's a series of just different random shit.
Yeah.
Where this is clearly like a plot problem. Oh, maybe a plot thing. It seems like it's supposed to be.
Yep. Definitely looks that way. And that...
His accent's kind of interesting, though.
Whose?
Cuphead's? Because he's got like this... I don't know what the pinpoint in it.
Yeah.
But it's a very like distinct, like old-timey accent way of speaking.
Yeah.
Brooklyn, I guess? I don't know.
It's kind of the old... Yeah. Anywho, my brain's rotten. It's all over. We're done. The landscape has changed forever. That's the Rage Select Podcast. Hope you guys are ready for the changed landscape. We use bottle caps as currency now, and everybody poops wherever they want to. So that's the new gaming landscape. Not so different than the old gaming landscape.
Hope you like leather, though.
Yeah. Michael, where can the people find you when you're not over here helping me run down the biggest news in all of gaming?
You can find me on oneofus.net. We do a lot of movie and television reviews. My latest review was for Dexter New Blood.
Yep. Cool.
I didn't talk about it. I should have at the beginning of the podcast. That was the thing. I was like, I know I want to talk about something, but I forgot.
And now we're at the end, and there's no energy left.
No.
Let's have to save it for next time. But you can tell me all the spoilers as soon as we're done.